Andrew arrested on suspicion of sharing sensitive documents with Epstein. So not necessarily for abusing minors, but for sharing insider information as he was a liaison for international trade agreements and other things around the world, sharing that info with Jeffrey. King Charles III's brother taken into police custody, marking a historic first for a senior royal amid further fallout from the Epstein files. Pretty amazing that a foreign country is the first one to make an arrest on this. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, was arrested on Thursday. He's already been in the middle of this for a long time, stripped of his titles and other things, on suspicion of misconduct in public office as his officials now investigate his relationship with Jeffrey. Police cars, unmarked, arrived at his home around 8 a.m. local time in Norfolk, Virginia, in England. The arrest centers on whether the brother of King Charles shared sensitive info and government documents with Epstein during his time as the UK Special Trade Envoy from 2001 to 2011. The police are the Thames Valley Police. They're leading the investigation. Not a lot of details, saying a man in his 60s from Norfolk was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office and was searching addresses at various locations. The assistant chief constable, called Oliver, said, following a thorough assessment, we've now opened an investigation into this allegation of misconduct in public office. He added, it is important that we protect the integrity and the objectivity of our investigation as we work with our partners to investigate this alleged offense. We understand the significant public interest in this case, and we will provide updates at the appropriate time. We'll see. Police have not detailed what material is at issue here. Reports have shown that emails, including forwarded reports from an account of the Duke to Epstein after his official trips, were sent as his role as an envoy. He traveled the world to go promote business interests for the British and then was leaking info to Epstein. His conduct in office involves a public official abusing his position, and they may hold him for 24 hours and interrogate him, perhaps, ask him questions, see what he has to say about this. Could hold him for up to 96 hours to allow time for them to gather evidence like phones, laptops, computers, and paper. Unlike voluntary interview under caution.
Working. Thanks, Sig. If you could, do it from Rumble, but it's up to you. I agree. Thank you.
King came out. He made a statement saying the law must
need to watch time.
Course. He described this as a deep concern over the matter. He said, what now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by appropriate authorities. They have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Whoa! It was his birthday today. Wow, that's a bad birthday. The arrest, which came on his 66th birthday, on King Charles and Prince William. They got to go condemn this guy. The royal family's media strategy is cautious and reactive, and we're saying as little as possible about this controversy. He voluntarily gave up some of his titles last October, but calls for a complete break intensified. And last October, King Charles removed the rest of his titles. He moved to a smaller house, part of the monarch's private property. That residence is also being searched right now. The palace said in the statement that the Queen's thoughts and other sympathies are with the victims and survivors. And following other accusations, Prince William and Catherine issued a two-line statement. They said, I can confirm the Prince and Princess have been deeply concerned by the continuing revelations. Their thoughts remain focused on the victims. On Wednesday, William also gave an interview about mental health, didn't mention in the United States. He reached an out-of-court settlement about $16 million with Virginia Giuffre, who accused him of abuse. The settlement had no admission of liability. His relationship with Epstein has been widely chronicled. He sent them a bunch of emails from an account called The Duke. In 2011, one email read, he sent, we are in this together. After an infamous picture of him with his arm around Giuffre, Ghislaine Maxwell in the background, smiling like a demon, Andrew ended the email expressing the wish to play some more soon. In a televised interview in 2019, he said that he would help the U.S. law enforcement in its investigation into Epstein, which is yet to be done. U.S. lawmakers demanding that happen. And this is unprecedented. Rare moment in modern British history. No senior member of the royal family in living memory has ever been formally arrested on criminal charges. The closest parallel goes back to 1649, when King Charles I was put on trial by Parliament and sentenced to death during the English Civil War. Andrew is the late Queen Elizabeth II's second son. now must decide whether he cooperates with British police or refuses questioning. So that is what's happening today. We got a clip of King Charles making a public appearance after his brother was arrested. Here's what this scene looked like. Very short clip. I'll go above these screens. Any questions? Sure. Sure. All right, so a lot of attention there. We got updates over stateside from CNN. Live updates. They are breaking the latest. We got reaction from politicians in the U.S. and other things saying, yeah, the law must take its course. See what the latest is. Refuses to answer questions about his brother's arrest. We just saw that clip. He walks in. We want to talk about it. Attorney for Epstein's victims say the arrest may restore faith for those who believe justice was unreachable. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. And Andrew is the first senior British royal to be arrested in almost 400 years. Lawmakers are speaking out about this. Let's see what this says. Growing number of U.S. lawmakers are now speaking out this morning. Great Britain is holding its powerful and privileged to account. The U.S. should do the same, says Rep. Jake Auchincloss, a Democrat from Massachusetts. Another colleague, another Democrat, said, what a great contrast this is. Saying, wow, they'll make arrests. Where's Pam Bondi? Look at what the British government is doing in light of the evidence. Look at what the United States is doing. Nothing. Ro Khanna, another Democrat this morning, they're all going to pound the table on this. Most Republicans are not even communicating about it at all, saying, this is moral clarity. This is inspiring. And every time something like this happens, I know the administration just wants to post through it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Just kind of keep, moving on. Eventually, eventually something else will happen. We can talk about that rather than this. But every time something like this happens, and it's going to continue to happen in perpetuity, then, because this story's been going on for 20 years, it's going to continue. Every time it's going to be an opportunity for the other side to slam this administration. And if you see that a prince can be arrested in England, people are scratching their head here. Wait a minute. Why can't we then go after our billionaires like Reid Hoffman or Bill Gates or anybody else who may be implicated in this? As our thesis stood, why don't they go and arrest 4 literal named co-conspirators, the women who are sending text messages and facilitating the grooming of the women to go become Epstein's victims? Nadia Marcinkova, Leslie Groff, and the others. Where are they? Well, they're running around free because then it makes it just seem even more absurd. Handle more seriously than we have. There is an appreciation in America among the survivors, me and others in Congress, for how the British people are handling this. Making Pam look like an idiot. Former Congressman Marjorie also pointed out the lack of accountability here, saying, yeah, they arrested him over there. Over here, our president just signed an EO protecting cancer-causing glyphosate in our foods. And 0 Epstein-related arrests, but basically 0 arrests for really anybody who's been a major criminal here. The former prince has denied all accusations, insisted he never witnessed or suspected any behavior. We know everybody's so I'm shocked. Epstein with women, girls? I know. What are the police doing? Where are they searching? These uniformed British police officers standing. Outside his residence. They typically don't give out names for people, When an investigation is ongoing, police are releasing precious little other information. Don't know much more about it. Of course, an ongoing investigation. It's just the way that criminal processes are brought anywhere. Keir Starmer. Wow, Keir Starmer's taken a playbook out of Liz Cheney. No one is above the law. Nobody's above the law, says Keir Starmer. Now, as we're seeing, yeah, actually, it's true. There are a lot of people who are extremely above the law and no consequences. And again, even if it's not, let's say you can't pinpoint evidence of actual abuse by some named person in the files. There are financial crimes. There's insider trading. There's just like shooting fish in a barrel in order to bring charges against a bunch of other people, but nobody wants to do it. Andrew's arrest raises hard questions for Trump, and this is going to once again keep this story in the news in perpetuity, and rightfully so. We want accountability on it. Andrew Mountbatten is stripped of his titles. King Charles said, "I feel very badly. It's a terrible thing that's happened to the family." Trump said, "What?" Without mentioning why King Charles III made the decision, Trump allowed his own affinity for the royal family to guide his response. He said, that's been a tragic situation. It's too bad. I feel badly for the family. Well, yeah, I mean, it can be a disaster for the family if somebody in your family does something bad. It's like a bomb goes off. And I've had a lot of experience with that, representing people. Good families go, my son, there's no way he did that. We're like, well, the police report says like he was there, he admitted everything, and like he's on camera. I don't believe it. Well, so it's like devastating for a family, right? When one person in a family of otherwise good people does something bad, it's like a bomb goes off. It's a disaster. And that's why a lot of defense attorneys are acting as counselors for the family to explain what's going on, translate the evidence, and help facilitate them through the process. So I understand that. But the tragic situation, I mean, really, is the fact that Epstein and his co-conspirators got away with horrific things. Trump has yet to weigh in on the arrest on Thursday, so as before. The arrest only seemed to underscore an uncomfortable reality for the president. Yeah, exactly right. Every time someone powerful appears to be held accountable, they're all resigning, they're all kind of abandoning ship. Raises hard questions. Why is this not happening in the United States? Those are the questions Trump has refused to answer. He's bristled at even the mention of Epstein, saying the country needs to move on. It's not going to. If something big happens, like if we go to war in Iran, right, maybe that knocks this off the front page because now we're in World War III or whatever, but I doubt it. I don't think the Democrats are going to let go of it because what else are they going to talk about? Donnie raising taxes and property taxes? Or they're missing 300,000 kids that Tim Burchett's going to talk about? Trump praised Bondi's appearance and claimed people, quote, only cared about Epstein when they thought he could create political harm to a very popular president. Yeah, that's true. But that's why you can't move on, is because that's what they're doing. They're using this as an attack to call this entire administration the Epstein class. It's ridiculous when you've got Bill Clinton, who was on the airplane. Epstein came to Bill Clinton's White House like 17 times. And Trump is now being castigated as the Epstein class. Ghislaine Maxwell went to Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Hillary confirms that she met with Ghislaine and knows Ghislaine. You got Reid Hoffman, who's like the Democrat super funder, hanging out at Epstein's Island, thousands of emails with the dude. Catherine Rumler, like the list goes on and on. And I know there's other people on our side, Lutnick, Bannon, and many others. But rather than just sitting there and allow them to pull out Lutnick and Bannon and, these smears against Trump, Ted Lieu came out with a disgusting statement saying that there's evidence that Trump is harming kids and stuff like that. So the Republicans have to push back. And if Trump just says, move on, then he's going to be labeled and defined as this. And it's just like, what are we doing? But when Andrew, the brother of the monarch, is arrested, if they can arrest a former prince, like, our princes are our billionaires, to be honest. So why can't we go get Reid Hoffman? Buckingham Palace was not informed in advance of this. A royal source told CNN that the Buckingham Palace was not giving prior warning. Former British PM says this arrest, he submitted further evidence to the police. What? Gordon Brown has submitted a 5-page memo to relevant police forces about the files. The memo provides new and additional information to that which I submitted last week, he said. I expressed my concern that we secure justice for trafficked girls. Brown's statement did not specify the nature of the evidence he submitted or how it was related to this. It was previously insisted that he never witnessed or suspected any of the behavior which Epstein had. No one knew. No one knew. King Charles carries out normal duties on the day of his brother's arrest. Great. Marjorie's criticizing MAGA. Nothing new there. Searching his home. Let's take a look at this video. Gonna load. CNN video. Apparently not. There it goes. Yeah. All right, worst video player of all time. Police have been searching his former home. Video shows uniformed police officers behind the gates of the Royal Lodge. And they've been searching other locations as well. Allegations might jeopardize the future of the royal family. Someone else commenting on what they think the consequences will be. Prince William and Catherine support the King's statement. CNN understands. Historian expects to see more accountability from the family. Sounds like the family is just, cutting their losses ultimately. If they don't do something aggressively with this, then it's going to smear and taint the whole family. Queen Camilla goes ahead with the public engagement hours after the arrest. They're all just posted through it. That's okay. We need justice for him, and he's being, dumped. And of course, you wonder how much they knew about any of this or were endorsing it or how much they were overlapping with his affairs. Andrew's arrest is an extraordinary moment. It's a big deal. Royalty arrested. And we have royalty in America. They're called billionaires, and they escape all accountability. Or banks like JP Morgan that can be Epstein's bank, move hundreds of millions of dollars around, and get away with everything. One of those princes is called Bill Gates. His wife was so disgusted by what she learned, we don't know exactly what it was, that she divorced him like that. You remember Melinda. It was like, I'm out. And now Bill Gates is canceling his meetings. The Gates Foundation in India has confirmed that Gates is going to now skip an Indian AI summit, quote, after careful consideration. So they're all running away. The official announcement ended a week-long back and forth about his attendance, coming after scrutiny over Gates and Epstein. He's the source of controversy. He's a co-founder. Public backlash for his relationships with Epstein. Lots of emails in there. He said, after careful consideration, and to ensure the focus remains on the AI summit, I'm not coming. The official announcement capped a back-and-forth saga that began earlier this week. Local Indian media now ripping him, pointing out, Gates is there in the files, and they started to pull his name off the public-facing materials. I mean, that's great. It's like the Scarlet Letter, and you get labeled with a big fat E right on your forehead. Epstein pedophile. Epstein pedophile. And then of course you suffer the social consequences from that. But is that it? Bill Gates goes and retires into the sunset with his $100 billion, and there's no accountability. We just kind of forget about it, move on. However, the Gates Foundation issued a conflicting message on Wednesday. They said, "Oh no, he's coming. You can take his name off the building, but we're coming." Asked about the controversy, India's IT minister called Ashwini Vaishnaw told reporters that his attendance would come down to personal choices, and I don't need to comment on it. The American tech leader turned philanthropist, whatever, man. This guy, we got a big problem with. He was a vaccine pusher, and he also, if you remember, had that weird exchange with his wife where they were sitting there talking about the next pandemic, people are going to pay attention. They looked at each other like, yeah, the next one, we're going to get even richer. The American tech leader turned philanthropist under intense scrutiny. Files included a draft email written to himself in which Epstein suggests that Bill had facilitated extramarital affairs and encounters with Gates. And that may have been Epstein's real deliverable, is discretion and connections, right? Bill Gates is not going to some, LA Madam. Remember the DC Madam and Governor Spritzer or whatever, who's banging all the hookers out there as the governor, and it wrecked his whole thing, rightfully so. Bill Gates is at a different level. So you need real powerful discretion and international facilitation. So he goes to Epstein to do this. And Epstein brings in the Russians. Then Bill Gates gets an STD, allegedly, and then gives that to his wife, allegedly, and then is now sneaking her antibiotics so that his wife doesn't know that she's infected by some Russian STI. In an interview with Australian 9, Gates denied any wrongdoing. He said the allegations are absolutely absurd and completely false. They all say that. He emphasized that his interactions were limited to dinners. Never went to the island. And again, that's like a false premise, I think. So what? He didn't go to the island. He go to New York and do it there. He go to New Mexico and do it there. Never met any women. That's not what Epstein said. The AI Impact Summit, where Gates was scheduled to speak, had some of the biggest names out there. Alphabet CEO from Google, OpenAI, Sam Altman, Anthropic, Claude, Dario, besides a bunch of other global leaders like Emmanuel Macron and UN Secretary General called Antonio Guterres. And we'll see, I think the French are also launching their own investigations. The Gates Foundation has invested in India and other projects, but as we talked about, this is just going to keep going until Pam Bondi indicts somebody. Nobody's going to be happy about it. And the Republicans are also essentially in alignment with the Democrats. You see Luna, you see Massey, you see a large part of people, Nancy Mace, are Republicans who are saying this is absolutely outrageous. Where's Pam Bondi? Where's the accountability? And again, from them, I haven't really seen a name. They're congresspeople. We still would like to see a name. And victims can give names, by the way. This is not uncommon. We saw victims named Bill Cosby. Very powerful, very rich person. They named him, they indicted him, and then he ultimately escaped indictment and was set free on appeal later, because that's how it works when you're rich and powerful. Or think about Harvey Weinstein. All the women came out and identified Harvey Weinstein, and then he went to prison for that. So it is possible to do that. You are not, just because you're a victim, suddenly going to get murdered if you identify your perpetrator. Very common thing. And in fact, E. Jean Carroll, the person who said that Trump abused her, got endless legal support, got Reid Hoffman to fund the lawsuit, and had a bunch of congresspeople defending her. And she got a $90 million windfall for lying, in my opinion, about Trump. So spare us this idea that victims can't, name anybody, can't name their accusers or whatever. It's common. It happens all the time. E. Jean Carroll got hoisted up onto Reid Hoffman's shoulders and celebrated across the media. Podcasts all over the place. Anderson Cooper was having conversations with her on CNN. She was accusing a president of this. Who's more powerful than that? So why can't a woman come out and say, actually, yeah, Reid Hoffman, did this to me, or Bill Clinton did this to me, or whatever? Name somebody. They would be protected. Wagons would circle up around them, but they won't do it. So why is that? Maybe because there is no evidence of that, and that's a big problem for them. But while this is ongoing, there's this big, massive, gaping chasm that is now being filled by the Democrats, labeling the entire Republican Party the Epstein class. And it's offensive because they were the ones who were ultimately allowing kids to be trafficked across America. And then once they get caught, guys like Reid Hoffman then turn around, they spend their billions of dollars to create a fictional narrative, just like Reid was going to do PR for Epstein in emails confirming that. He's now doing it for himself, and he's going to say he's a big advocate for victims, which they're not. They don't really care about victims at all. They just care about power. They want to be able to live in a separate system of governance where the rules don't apply to them. And then when they get caught, they can use their money to buy off media, to make fake commercials saying that he stands with the victims, even though he was BFFs with Epstein, and trying to paper over Epstein's most horrendous crimes. But we got some Republicans, very few, who are pushing back and standing in the breach. One of them is Tim Burchett. We appreciate what he said here.
Congressman Burchett, the children are safe from people like these guys. One first-degree kidnapping, assault, another rape in the third degree of someone under the age of 17, endangering the welfare of a child, and the list goes on.
300,000 kids are missing from the border debacle that Joe Biden put upon this country. If it wasn't for Donald Trump right now and home, and they found 175,000 of them, they're trying to redirect the narrative here, Kyle, and it doesn't work. Right. They've caught rapists, murderers, child molesters, and that's what the Democrats are protecting. That is exactly what they're protecting, and they have nowhere to hide, and they have no shame in all of this, because that is a pathetic agenda. President Trump came in, he said, I'm going to close the border, I'm going after the bad guys, and that's exactly what he did.
Congressman, what you just said there, I mean, that is to me the most underreported story. 175,000 children found, but not a peep out of the left that Biden lost 300,000 migrant children. I thought that's what the left was about, protecting migrants, but not the kids. It is as if they are political pawns in a scheme, and they're left out of the equation entirely when it just doesn't fit the narrative.
It does not fit their Marxist narrative. You're correct. You've written my talking point for me, Kylie, and thank you. Because that's exactly what happened. I've been to the border. It was just and during the Biden administration, and you talk about some undermined law enforcement that we had down there. Everything that they stood for was just being walked over. We were spending tens of millions of dollars every month just on providing food, clothing, shelter for these folks. Again, when it doesn't fit their narrative, the national media just basically ignores it, and that's what they're doing with this story. Where in the heck were those 300,000 children? What hell were they being sold into by the cartels? Those are the kind of questions that need to be answered, and you're not going to get that in the mainstream media right now.
No, you're not. And these kids put in these emergency intake facilities. They were eating, at one point, it was reported by a mainstream media outlet, bloodied chicken with feathers coming out of it. That's what migrant children were subjected to under Joe Biden's watch. It's unbelievable. Congressman, thank you.
So Burchett is one of the people who can offer a counterpoint to this and say maybe the Democrats are trying to smear the Trump administration and President Trump largely himself in order to distract from their own failures. But when we start to see accountability ballooning in other countries around the world, the natural response to that is, why is that not happening here in America? We'll see what the DOJ has to say about this if Pam Bondi makes any adjustments. But so far, it's like they just want to move on and move through this thing. And every time something like this happens, it's going to remind Americans that nobody's been arrested for this. Maxwell's in prison. Okay, Epstein's dead. But that's it. That's the extent of the criminality of the whole thing. No financial crimes. No one else got women or minors trafficked to them. And it's all just settled with a nice bow on top. So move on. Let's talk about something else. But I don't think that's going to last long as Republicans on our side continue to essentially refuse to move on, and rightfully so, until there is some accountability here. So we'll keep our eye on this one. All right, let's see what you say about all this and more. It is a beautiful morning, and also a little bit of an infuriating morning, but it's great to be here. Hey, we got some donos. Carrie B, K Bean, what's going on? What a beautiful morning. This old guy, good to see you. Rokana, good to see you, is here. We got some good memes coming in. Thank you, Corn Dog. We got some good stuff. Hey, Former's talking about buffering. Man, Former, sorry that's happening to you. It's probably happening on the iPhone app. So I think it's a locals problem. I don't think it's a us problem. So I would, I think it's the iPhone app, honestly. So I would encourage you to try a different app or try it just watching in the browser, or just honestly cancel on locals and go over to YouTube where it actually works, which I'm sorry to say that, but I don't know what they're doing. And I send them emails and they say, what browser are you using? They say, our tech people say it's working fine. It's all right. So sorry about that, Former, but thanks for being here. We got this one from Sandy. Shared this image from Rep. San Farrington. The New Hampshire House just passed the Charlie Act in honor of Charlie Kirk. The Countering Hate and Revolutionary Leftist Indoctrination in the Education Act prevents school teachers from instructing critical race theory. You cannot use a public school classroom to teach students that they are inherently racist. That's a good call. Yeah, that's a good call. And man, have you guys been seeing these like walkouts from these students? These anti-ICE walkouts from like these high school kids? They're waving Mexican flags all over the streets. It's insane. And totally invaded. Thank you, Sam Farrington, for that. Trino Galaxy, what's going on? Hey, back from vacation and on to the regular schedule again. Perfect, because our schedule's changing tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, we've got a power outage in our whole neighborhood from right now, like when we are scheduled to stream. So we're probably, and then tomorrow night, we're going to do a mega extravaganza. The Empower Oversight crew and the IRS whistleblowers are launching a documentary called Shielded by Power. It's going to be great. So we're going to do a long interview. Your boy's hosting or helping to host. And we're going to have, I think, a bunch of awesome people come through, like Miranda Devine, John Solomon, and we'll see who else is coming through. But that's the schedule for tomorrow. So we'll be here probably for a morning stream at some point, and then pause, and then come back like late. It's going to be 6 p.m. my time, so like 8 p.m. Eastern time. As we're going for like 4 hours. It's going to be a doozy. That's the housekeeping schedule for tomorrow. Corn Dog Anti-Hero says, Andrew got arrested? Wow. I wonder how many Muslim rape gangs and the politicians and police who covered them up are next. Yeah, good question. Probably very little, unless that Rupert Lowe gets Restore Britain back in power. I hope this helps them stop the foreign takeover of their country. I roll. Everything is fake and gay and just a damn distraction from real issues that affect real people. No arrest for border or thousands of trafficked kids because of Democrats and their NGOs and treason. I can't with these people anymore, says Corn Dog. Yeah, there is a lot of that. And dudes like this, Ro Khanna, will scream about Epstein files and make their entire personality based around this. Indian food, there's that guy cooking with his foot. It's a weird thing they do over there. They're okay eating their food with flesh from other people's feet in it. It's disgusting. Democrat Ro Khanna rips GOP border bill as extreme, says Biden's doing everything he can. Right, of course. Ro Khanna's a hack. Just me, what's up? As a Montgomery County primary voter, high turnout isn't great for incumbent reps and senators, and I love the high Dem turnout for Jasmine C. Remember, so like a Dem, early and often. Good to see you, Jasmine. Yeah, and it is the primaries. I think I saw Chubby make that point as well, that this is early voting, right? So a lot of Republicans will come out and vote day of. But those numbers are like 3 to 1 in some of those numbers. So can you close that gap is really the problem. And maybe they can, maybe the Republicans can, but it's like, what are you excited about for the Republicans? And, you know, I watch a lot of the media in preparation for the show, and I see the Democrats are putting like points on the board in terms of political attacks. Every time there's something that happens, they just say, oh, look, somebody screwed up again. You know, Kash Patel screwed up again. Pam Bondi screwed up again. They got caught. They got duped, whatever. And they just ratchet it up to volume 10. And the Republicans don't really have anything to celebrate. Like if we had an indictment, you said, boom, finally justice is coming. Or, you know, we need something to latch onto to get excited about. And there just really isn't that much stuff. Or if there is, they're not talking about it. The Republican Party's not pushing it into the mainstream narrative so that it wins, just like we saw with Tim Burchett, who is now saying, what about the kids? But the rest of the Republicans, man, are just like quiet. It's weird. There's just like silence. Because I think they know what's coming. Corn Dog Anti-Hero. Yeah, there's Massey. And then Ro Khanna comes up. And then they urinate right next to each other, which is completely inappropriate and not manly at all. But Epstein files. Ro Khanna and Massey. Massey's also going over Ro Khanna. So I think they're both very happy, just kind of bundled up together there, urinating together. What's going on? This one. Vote against the Lake and Riley Act, border security. Don't demand accountability for your friends in the Democrat Party for thousands of trafficked kids due to open border policy. But then lead a circus and accuse innocent people of being in Epstein files from Ro Khanna. Yeah, and Ro, when's the last time Ro mentioned Reid Hoffman, who's a Silicon Valley donor of his?
Closed.
Never.
The place that just went
so it's just, they're just, you know, fakers, really. Hey, this old guy says Diego Garcia means the island means standoff launches of cruise missiles from B-52s. B-2s will probably come from the U.S., fighters and electronic warfare from the two carriers, along with missiles from the carrier groups, means Iran regime change would be assured because the existing regime will be dead or missing. Iran said 2 weeks till they come back to negotiations. I don't think they have 2 weeks, and I'm basically a pacifist from this old guy. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. If the goal is regime change, then if they negotiate and come to a settlement, then like, is that just for naught? Like, what's the point of having a negotiation or settlement if you just want the whole regime gone? So maybe it's a foregone conclusion. And sometimes negotiations are just to say you negotiated. We tried, but couldn't get a deal. Perfect. Now let's go take him out. So we'll see what happens, but a lot is going to be brewing over the weekend. Hey, Corn Dog says, I get why Epstein files are a big deal. I really do. But it's going on for decades, and we have immediate problems to deal with in the now. And no one has been arrested for the current crime, so why should I expect people in the Epstein files, a lot of them aren't even suspects because they didn't do anything wrong, to get arrested after decades of the files and cover-ups? Yeah, and I think that, the reason to care, you're right, ultimately. And honestly, it's been very disappointing because Pam Bondi, I think, has made it harder to arrest anybody. We've talked about this many times. She released that 2-page memo, her and Todd Blanche, saying that they investigated everything before the files were even released, and there is no evidence of wrongdoing. So even if you did say arrest somebody, they would point back to her own statements and say, what changed? Oh, we know what changed. It's just political pressure. And this is a selective and vindictive prosecution, and they would have a good argument. Which is why our strategy, I think, bypasses that, because all of that was already known. And now we just learned, so Pam Bondi can make this excuse that the Supreme Court rejected Ghislaine Maxwell.
I'm going to continue the stream, but I'm going to pause it for a second while I run inside and open it up on my laptop rather than the mobile device.
Now it's like new information. Oh, Supreme Court confirmed there is no immunity. Perfect. That's great. That's new. Now we can go indict them in New York. And then, of course, you go Sarah Kellen, you get Nadia Marcinkova, you get Leslie Groff and Adriana Ross, the 4 of them. Indict them.
Guy doesn't know how to fucking park in the Mercedes.
By naming the other people, and then you have an active witness to go, or they don't have anybody. They say, no, it was just Epstein, it was just Maxwell. Say, oh, well, okay. Then they get prosecuted. But,
Jesus, nobody knows how to fucking park here.
But Pam Bondi then insulated the whole thing, and then the files come out and go, okay, there's more here. And it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Like, it makes my blood boil, to be honest with you.
All right, I will be. Relax till then.
What? Here's the official West Virginia government leak on the program. Man,
All right, we're back.
Glad to be with you. Welcome live to Rumble. This is well, it's Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. So we are here. We're here tomorrow on Friday, but only if you're a Rumble Premium member. A lot to get to. Europe is done. Obviously, we've talked about that, but the United States is going to be freeing Europe now from the shackles of, I guess, anti-speech. Would we say totalitarianism? Would we say autocratic regime? I don't know. You let me know what's most appropriate. But we actually had the undersecretary here, and she teased something, and now it's been unveiled, an actual portal for people in Europe. Also, Europe doesn't want you to know who commits crimes on trains because they had a PSA that reflected the demographics accurately, and they said, let's change it with a white guy. Which brings us to another piece of today. Simu Liu, however you need to pronounce it. I don't care because I'm American. He's not. He's a communist Chinese guy. He's an actor, and he's a talking head for the Communist Party. We're going to get into the ins and outs why this man is a national security threat. And Canada, time to invade it. I've been saying it for years. Matt Walsh just echoed it yesterday. I was like, hey, thank you. Good. They just killed a 26-year-old. Sorry, seasonal depression. Yeah, it was dark outside, and he didn't like it.
Good, you?
So they killed him. This is not a serious country. It shouldn't exist anymore. On with the show.
Yeah, I still don't think I get it. Like, what even is a Rumble wallet?
I mean, I know it's practical, but I just found out what Pogs meant.
Oh, PWG.
Just used it. Booked you for a private event, Josh.
What?
Yeah, check it.
Wait. No.
Yep.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I do not do bar mitzvah.
Those are the rules.
I famously, I don't.
If you sign up and they can
Yes.
tip you as a creator, you have to take
That's the rule.
Yes, it is.
So I have to do it.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, you
My
are.
name's on the side.
It doesn't matter.
Jews aren't fans.
You're going to do it. It's going to be great for both of you guys. You're going to love it. Thanks, guys.
You know, broadcasters, Gerald, we're not party to be great for nobody.
And I said with all the questions, the who, the what, the why.
No, why's on third.
Oh, I forgot. I should have known. And why? His father's a doctor.
Don't be such a hey, eat your matzo ball soup, huh?
That's right.
Keep it to yourself. Hey,
Told you this crowd, they're tough.
no, tough plays outfield.
That one. That one. Download the Rumble wallet and step away from the big banking and the checking for good. No fees, no middlemen, no banks to freeze your account. Plus, it's the best way to support the creators. You love your creators, right? Download today at wallet.rumble.com. No, it is a thing, Joe. I'm telling you. NAMBLA is a thing. The North American Nanboy Love Association. It's allowed to exist. I don't know why.
I don't either.
These are all valid questions
Do they
from
have
you.
meetings?
I just don't like having to inform you about it because you should know.
If they have meetings, don't we know where to
You
bomb?
should know your enemy. And I know it's wrong to hate, but I do hate the people who are in NAMBLA.
I hate pedophiles too, so that's fine.
There we go.
Yeah, we're
all right.
good.
Hey, question of the day. I forgot. Which Marvel actor is the worst? Who's the biggest leftist piece of crap? You guys need to...
A long list.
I don't really follow Marvel all that much. I know there's the broad who did the thing.
Yeah. Miss Marvel.
Captain Morgan, CEO, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Still a little bit broken up about NAMBLA still being a thing.
Still hate pedophiles?
I still do.
Every morning.
I'm always, but pedophile used to mean, just to be clear, used to mean like a pervert, right? A degenerate who enjoyed engaging in activity with a prepubescent child. Now with feminists, it means any man who likes a woman younger and hotter than me. So we need to make sure that we distinguish between like 12-year-old girls and
there's the difference.
And a 40-year-old dating like a 25-year-old. Because I've been seeing that online. And they're like, come on. You can't just strip the meaning from the word. Friday, Saturday, March 20th, 21st, Summit City Comedy Club in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Great lead-in.
The hustle and bustle of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Mr. Josh Firestein, how are you?
I'm good. Does Terrence Howard count? He's only in one movie, Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Does he count?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrence Howard then is my answer.
I guess because he always sounds like he's about to cry.
It's no Mark Ruffalo.
I figured out the Pythagoras algorithm. Only me with my mathematics. That guy is out of his mind.
Yeah.
Also, he thought he was worth more than Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. But that's a good segue because he is the best among us. He is worth more than Robert Downey Jr. because a black life is worth more than a white life. It's time for the best Black History Month. Hiram Rhodes Revels was the first black man to be elected to the U.S. Senate. There you go. Some fast facts for you. Thurgood Marshall was the first African-American Supreme Court justice. And about 25% of cowboys in the American West were actually black. A piece of our heritage. This has been Black History Month.
Unsung heroes.
There's only so much space to dance at a desk.
Yeah.
Oh, you
can't do the shopping cart.
No.
Where's he
what's
put
that?
the switch on that thing?
You mean like a homeless man?
Yeah, you walk and you
What is that?
grab-
Oh, yeah.
No, it's Black History Month, not white guy at a wedding dance.
That's gay.
Yeah, that's in the same category as the sprinkler.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I see what you did there. Let's say Macarena. Hey, here's another one that's fun before we get to everything, because it's gonna get enraging, just so you know later. So I apologize. We're want a little bit of levity here. There was a visit to a temple that was taking place with Taiwan's leadership, and the temple's chairman. He handled it well, but he couldn't contain himself.
台南继续努力，珍惜温的节点，所以也希望说，除了2026成立的大选，我们要拜托大家，我们现场所有的议员一样都当选。
He puked right on the Taiwan sweater.
You got it all over me.
But he carried himself with dignity.
No, I like it. Dignified old man scoot to the back.
I love how you can see on his face. He's like,
oh no.
Is it coming? Oh, it's happening!
Too much egg drop soup.
Yeah. By the way, the guy right next to him, the red hoodie, they got sprayed. Yeah, that was the president of Taiwan.
Oh, jeez. Can you imagine?
You just yacked all over the president, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine Pete Hegseth sitting there next to the president.
The Department of Now, the chairman did later apologize. He said he may have had the norovirus. And, it's really not his fault because it was likely a reaction to someone he saw in the crowd.
说除了2026成立的大选，我们要拜托大家，我们现场所有的。
That is a 4-month-long payoff for those who are Rumble Premiums, and you know the Lady of Toronto.
Is that her nickname, the Lady of Toronto?
I just call her that because all Asian names, they bleed together. Dao, Chow, I don't know.
Not the same.
Anyway, I remember the guy in the plane, David
Close
Dow.
enough.
By the way, Rumble Wallet. We were talking about this earlier, but it really is a cool new service. You can go to wallet.rumble.com where you can just uncouple from banks and actually support your favorite creators here on Rumble. Go do it. It's an all-encompassing ecosystem here. Rumble. Free speech, media, banking, all of the above.
Getting rid of that payment processing.
Gives you the option to tip when you see Mayor Chow.
Yes, exactly. This is one we weren't planning on talking about this, but it kind of hits close to my non-home. I was born in Detroit, but raised in Canada. I have been saying for years that Canada's existence is the greatest proof that the United States is not an evil empire, and Canada's not a real country. What do I mean by that? It really kind of in a technical sense, because they simply bowed down for royalty. They didn't fight the same kind of revolution that we did. And they're entirely subsidized, really, by the United States. If they had to defend themselves, it's not possible. So it's an act of mercy from us. Canada has been playing country. Here's where it gets a little sticky. They're now deciding to play evil country, because you've heard numbers as high as 5% of the deaths in Canada, I believe last year, were the result of euthanasia, or as leftists refer to it, progress. Now, you may be thinking, okay, it's a 92-year-old who's sick, who's on life support.
Cancer, maybe?
Maybe cancer. And, with socialized healthcare, hey, you just got to make some decisions. Like the death panels that the left said didn't exist, but they actually do exist in every country that has socialized healthcare. You probably aren't thinking of a 26-year-old with not cancer, not AIDS, not MS, seasonal depression, killed.
Keanu Vafian was 26 years old when he received medical assistance in dying in BC on December 30th. His family says he lived with type 1 diabetes and partial vision loss, but they say his biggest struggle was his mental health, which they believe should have made him ineligible for MAID.
He said everything that doctors needed to hear in order to approve him. Was he actually feeling that way? I strongly believe not.
He didn't have the items that were necessary to qualify him for MAID, and quite frankly,
stepfather, I was
the medical
wondering.
system failed him.
Yeah. They found out about 4 days after their 26-year-old was killed. And I would say murdered, and I'll qualify that. First off, this is why you're seeing, I believe the new stats came out that people with college degrees, particularly young men with college degrees, men who are successful, they're actually more likely to be practicing Christians now. It used to be the opposite, right? We just thought that because we looked to Europe, atheism spreads, and with intelligentsia, academia, people are going to become more godless. Now people have seen the results, and this goes back to the foundational framework. When I was younger, it used to be Christopher Hitchens and Dawkins debating. People would talk about how they didn't need to get their morality or base it on God or any type of principles beyond really what could be defined secularly. You're seeing this now. How do you argue that you can't do that? They said he could have just been saying what they needed to hear in order to kill him. How do you argue against euthanasia? Because these are the complications you will run into. You have to argue against it on principle on the outset. Well, we don't do that. Why? Because we're not allowed to end our own lives. That's our culture. That's a Christian worldview. That's how our country was founded, on that worldview, on those principles. It defines us. Once you remove that, yeah, if someone wants it, well, you know what, maybe it's more humane, okay? Yeah. Then you get to a situation, well, how do you know that he's telling the truth? We shouldn't find ourselves there. And it's even worse than that, because Johnny Boy, we talked about this. He has a relative, I can't remember, or a friend in Canada, whose mother or grandmother has cancer and is doing pretty well. And I might be butchering the story, but it's an older person who's in his, circle who has cancer, but doing okay with treatment. The MAID program overseen by Health Canada, they call weekly.
Oh my God.
They call weekly to say, are you sure? How are you feeling? Have you considered this option?
Wow.
It's like a sales team.
Yeah. It's worse than a salesman. It's worse than extended warranty calls.
Yes.
I don't get those once a week.
It's like a sales team that works on commission, and I'm willing to bet, just like police officers, the reason that you get pulled over for tickets and violent criminals go free is because you get more bang for your buck if you have to meet a quota and you have to have a certain number of civilian interactions. It's faster to dole out a speeding ticket. And so I guarantee you, no one's looked into this yet, but you are going to find people being incentivized because they need to prove the success of their program. They are calling weekly. That's anecdotal. Check the references. Here is the statistical reality. In February of 2026, unsolicited MAID offers were so common that some Canadian MPs have now proposed a law to ban unsolicited offers to kill you. Think of that phrase, to ban unsolicited offers to kill you. You need a law? You need a law for that, Canada?
What are they, competitively priced?
You evil people? You can't just say, oh, it used to be, right? A philosophical question. Okay, well, who's to say that if we say socialized healthcare and this person's going to die in the next couple of months anyway? Right, we used to have this discussion, this debate. Who's to say that you can't scale that back? People go, oh, come on now, you're straw manning it. You've now executed, effectively, a 26-year-old who maybe didn't get enough sunlight, who maybe didn't have the greatest social circle. The good thing about seasonal depression, the good thing about depression in general, is that it can be cyclical, and there are plenty of people who have gotten better. Well, he never got that chance. Unsolicited offers? You now need to propose a law. It is such a problem to say, well, look, all right, we can kill old people because they want to, and young people too if they really want to, but we really probably shouldn't have our government-funded department upselling people to death. The Cadillac healthcare plan.
Call the next 5 minutes, you get a free coffin.
Yeah.
Save your family the trouble and expense.
And by the way, this is also documented by the Canadian Veterans Affairs. It's sad that it comes from them. I can imagine why, that there have been many, many cases of unsolicited made offers to veterans to kill themselves. There's a way to honor your heroes, and they'll get mad that I make a joke about Canada's Air Force basically being a prop plane with a .22 rifle. Yeah, how about that's not as disrespectful as killing them?
Well, they're offering them, two folded flags at their service.
Canada doesn't get to be a country anymore.
No.
Unless they ban it, not just tariffs. I'm not joking. Potential military intervention to free Alberta. It's one thing to play country and to blame the United States. It's another to now decide that you're going to pretend to be an evil country. Anyone want to argue that this is anything other than evil? Comment below, let me know. And I know we'll hear some libertarians, well, fine. That's not an argument that convinces me.
No.
There's other context that makes it even more evil, too. If you think about this in the United States, if we had a program like this in the United States, and people were allowed to euthanize themselves, the incentive to euthanize people would be way less because it is profit-based. Medical system. It's a social-based, or what's it called?
Socialized healthcare.
Socialized healthcare up there. So the government's paid for it. The government saves money if they don't have to treat your cancer.
Right.
The government saves money if they don't have to give you, depression pills, SSRIs. The government saves money if they don't have to worry about your blind eye or whatever.
We had an argument. Do you guys remember this? In this country, a national debate. I think it stemmed from Sarah Palin. It may have been John McCain. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. The term death penalty.
Yeah.
This is when the Republicans were opposing some form of socialized healthcare, single payer.
I don't know what that is.
Death panels. And what they meant is you would sit before a panel. They were saying basically a panel of people who determine if you are worthy of the care since it is state funded and if it's within the budget. The left said that's a scare tactic. Of course, there's no such thing. There's never been such thing as death panels. Well, they're not called death panels, but here we are, not just death panels, sales fucking teams to call you at your house. Let me walk you through this. Imagine you're a little bit depressed. Maybe you're not doing all that well. I don't know, maybe you came back from war like one of these veterans. Maybe you lost a leg. Maybe you're shell-shocked and you're trying to get through it, and maybe you're going to therapy or maybe you're going to church, and you look into the face of your kids, and as we see with a lot of people who have depression, a sense of purpose is actually far more valuable than therapy or a lot of medical interventions. I'm not saying it's the only one. And you go, you know what? Maybe it's not about me. Maybe they need me. Maybe ring for a special discount. That's not a straw man. That's happening. Canada doesn't get to be Canada anymore.
I get weekly or bi-weekly emails from the VA. And in there, they try to encourage me to, join their programs. Go, hey, make an appointment. Did you make an appointment? Do you need to, check your prescriptions?
Want some pills?
Need a job? Yeah, all these things. Yeah, how's your PTSD? You need some therapy?
Yeah.
They offer all these things. That's now going through their emails. I'm sure they have weekly emails or bi-weekly emails to send out to their veterans who fought in the same war I did, by the way.
Yeah.
Side by side. Now they're getting emails. Hey, is it all too much?
You know what? Actually,
give us a call.
Anyone in Canada, let's put up the tip line for Mug Club Undercover. If you're in Canada and you have more information on this, or you'd be willing to maybe go through the system and see if you're approved.
Yeah, Canadian veterans, please speak up.
LWC tips at protonmail.com. We will protect our sources with our lives. And please look, if you are, and I know we have a lot of people watching in Canada, don't be led astray by this.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do some silly, it gets better. You know what? Let me tell you the truth. Statistically, it very likely gets better than where you are right now if you're considering suicide. That's the most likely scenario, but it may not. It may not. The circumstances may not, and maybe not for a while. Guess what? You still have a purpose, and you need to decide to do the right thing, even if it doesn't get better, because that's what good men have done since the beginning of time. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It always gets better. No, it can get worse. Say, oh, the fear of the unknown is what's, well, the fear of the unknown is the worst thing until the known is worse. I thought, how bad can it be? And I broke my femur. I was like, oh, that's really bad. So just letting you know, I don't want to give you false hope, but I think purpose is what matters. And that's why young men are becoming more involved in the church and the faith. I'm sorry, right-wing extremists and a domestic terrorism threat. We are the threat, telling people that you have a purpose, that you are fearfully and wonderfully created. We are the threat saying that all life is sacred. We are the threat saying, hey, people, as long as they are not committing a crime, they are free to speak. We are the threat and not the government making cold calls to pitch people on ending their life.
You're right about purpose. It could be simple too, just a simple everyday thing. Albert Einstein once said, "The only life worth living, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile."
Yes.
So if you go out there and live for others every day, you forget about
Mark's been here for a while. The construction's level. Sure, he's not worried about the plastic wrap.
No. An illness and stuff.
No.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm staying here forever.
Somebody else out. Purpose, even if you don't have a big purpose, you know about.
He also said, calm down, guys. I'm not that Jewish. So anyway, Canada, let's go. By the way, 11 a.m. is when you can watch us. We stream live every day. I'm very grateful for it. Now let's go to Europe. So Tuesday, the Undersecretary of State, Sarah Rogers, she kind of teased this. She talked about how the U.S. was working towards promoting American values in Europe. I just want to remind you because now we've had a new launch.
Right now, those cameras
You're diverging. I think some of these countries are becoming a little more censorious as the internet challenges what we're all going to allow. And of course, the internet is transnational, so these have become diplomatic conversations too, which is how they enter my purview. What I have done is I've offered support, a bit of financial support and just rhetorical support.
Our network is built for it.
We're spending less money than our predecessors did, but we are spending it on things that advance American interests and values. And it should come as no surprise that free expression is
originally.
And you know, at that point, it seemed a little cryptic, but that's, I also understand there are things that are classified that I can't know at that point in time. So now Reuters just reported that the U.S. State Department is launching an online portal to allow foreign publics to view banned content. So think about that for a second. If you're in a place like Russia or Brazil, you might be able to use, you can't watch it right now, but you know, you can tell them, you might be able to watch Rumble now. You might actually be able to access content that, my God, is critical of your government. You know, maybe your government's offing your own citizens in record numbers. Who knows? But, you know, the fascist regime that we are making the free internet more accessible to more people. And by the way, if you're here in the United States, best way is to download the Rumble app. Follow me there. You get notifications when we're live. You really do live, people talk about privilege. Being able to access content regardless of perspective. That's something uniquely American. Many countries, by the way, right now, they're actually considering a ban on X. New study came out, it was in Forbes this morning, that X veers people more conservative. What they mean is when content isn't banned, people tend to become more conservative because they're actually able to hear all perspectives. Think about it. This is not just hearsay. Facebook, anything critical of vaccines, banned. Anything critical of lockdowns, banned. Anything critical of the Department of Misinformation, banned. Anything critical of big tech censorship, banned. Hunter Biden laptop story, banned. This was the case on X as well. It affected elections. So now when people can actually read these things, you know, when people can actually, for example, go on X and hear interviews with actual doctors about results from medical interventions, they become more conservative. You know what the left is really concerned about? These countries include, by the way, UK, Canada, Australia, most of the European Union. What they really mean to say is, you know, COVID created more conservatives than anything else in our lifetime. It woke people up. X being free, Rumble growing, this would effectively be a permanent COVID-like ecosystem where people would be able to encounter and engage with content that they never knew existed. They'd be able to hear alternative narratives that they never knew existed, especially if it's based in fact. You were right. We've all been vindicated on COVID, to be clear. We've all been vindicated on election integrity, just to be clear. And I'm not even saying vindicated that everything is definitive and one side is all right and one side is all wrong, but the criticisms, the speaking out against, the unilateral execution of what we saw during COVID, or the unilateral perspective of the elections, we've been vindicated. Even those on the right were saying, you know, you shouldn't be broadcasting in the lockdowns. Even those on the right saying, you know what, you're making it hard for the rest of us if you talk on YouTube about the elections in 2020. Guess what? We were right, because the more people hear it and the more people look into it, the more conservative they become. I'll give you sort of a microcosm of that. This very show, the only show that gives you a bibliography every single show. A lot of you come in, you're on the fence, you go and check out the references, and you become more conservative. We can see it. We have the data. Think about that. Also, Rumble is banned in several countries, including Brazil, Russia. I think there might be one that I'm forgetting about. In some countries, like Belgium, by the way, they've even considered now banning the Olympics. Holy crap, that's a long face. Go to CNN. I have never, that's the Slender Man. I saw him in my night terror. Noodles, we've talked about night terrors. It's him.
That's one of Thanos' henchmen.
Yes.
My God.
It's the Mothman faggotries. All right.
His head,
with the Wi-Fi man.
his head is the Sears Tower.
I don't know. It's Stonehenge!
You can't have a face like that and then a nose to go with it.
He looks like if Stonehenge was underwater.
You got no equipment for it.
It goes down, his face
It slopes though. It goes to the side there.
Looks like his nose looks like someone seated on a subway who really is uncomfortable because of the person sitting to their right. So it's trying to get away from his right eye. All right. Sorry, back to so this right here's the.
I just want to straighten it. Sorry, I just want to grab it and just.
Yeah, he needs to go to his corner. You got to fix my nose. I don't want to fix your nose. Your nose is perfect. Let's look at this. So the United States. All right, we're not going to force anything on you. So in Canada, sometimes they thrust death upon you, right, with their euthanasia programs, their MAID program. The United States goes, hey, you guys across the world, you don't have access to what we have access to here in the United States because your government said that you wouldn't be able to. So we're going to give you a tool so that you can access the things that you want. We are doing that for the world. So let's just think of this, okay? Good guy, my right, your left. Bad guy. Where will we put that? And I think this is important because at a certain juncture, you need to say, okay, we're at a period in time where I know not everything is black and white, but there's such a divide. You can't say we are so divided and not acknowledge that there would have to be a good guy, bad guy, a good side, bad side, or a more good side and a more bad side. United States portal. You're now free to access the internet that's been prevented from being accessed by your government. All right. Would we file under bad guy in comparison, Macron declaring that free speech is bullshit?
We are in favor of free algorithms. Totally transparent. Because, I mean, free speech is a pure bullshit if nobody knows how you are guided through this so-called free speech, especially when it's to be guided from one hated speech to another hated speech. I just want to have a transparent road through these different speeches, and I want, by the way, to have a sort of public order. I want to avoid racist speech, hated speech, and so on. And the third one is a respect of language diversity.
Whatever. So, and here's the thing, it is a binary choice. This isn't a gray. This is a good guy, bad guy. All right, so United States, we're going to make sure that you can access the internet and access information freely. We're going to do our best. The diametric opposition, Macron, We don't believe in free speech. You shouldn't be allowed to access it. One's good, one's bad. You do have to decide where you line up. The left has decided they line up that way. But here's the conservative right. Here's Macron. No free speech. Free speech, no free speech. Government shouldn't tell you what you can and can't watch. Government should be the only dictators to what you can and can't watch. And now you have more of Europe, the German chancellor, directly comparing, again, free speech, open internet, MAGA, that's one of our positions, platforms, comparing that perspective directly to China invading Taiwan.
Plötzlich ist der Krieg zurück in Europa. Plötzlich sehen wir, wie die amerikanische Regierung es ernst meint mit dem, was sie Make America Great Again nennt und was dahinter steht. Plötzlich sehen wir, dass China, ganz anders als in den letzten 3000 Jahren der chinesischen Geschichte, aggressiv im südchinesischen Meer Flottenstützpunkte ausbaut, Taiwan einkreist, offen erklärt, dass sie notfalls bereit wären, mit militärischer Gewalt die sogenannte Wiedervereinigung Chinas herbeizuführen.
Okay, so, and these guys went on to say that we're fascist also.
Yeah.
So, free internet, all right, no free speech. Then you look at the rest of Europe, again, Germany, they're not pro-free speech advocates. United States is like China. This is why China now is circling Taiwan. Well, okay, hold on a second. Let's assume that leap somehow makes sense. So, you would seem to be anti-China and you would want Taiwan to exist. What are you going to do about it? Germany? Come to us with your cup out, right? Good guy, bad guy. Also, if China's so bad, then why would Germany be seeking a strategic partnership and opening up relations with China more? Check the references.
During the same speech.
Yeah, so
he said that.
MAGA, conservative, free speech, no free speech. Okay, who's a good guy or bad guy? United States or China? They say that you're a totalitarian under a dictatorship, this kind of regime, more so than China? Because Germany's made their choice. It is a binary choice, and they've made one. Where do you make yours? Germany and China, partnership, while saying the United States is effectively worse than China. There also, by the way, have been reports that Germany and China are now collaborating on new war technology, including China's new state-of-the-art Panzer. I had to say that.
That's terrible. You can totally spot that.
Yes, it's not good camouflage.
No.
Also, it won't fornicate.
No. It's very lazy. It moves very slowly.
There's only one.
Yeah.
It wants bamboo up its mouth.
Whoa. Up its...
Way to kill the momentum, Joe.
They eat bamboo upside down. The point that I was... Yeah, what the heck? The point that I was trying to make was...
bad guy here, yeah.
I don't want to hear any chastising or anything from Germany. They've been a whole country for what, 36 years? Shut up.
Yeah, effectively.
Okay?
Yeah.
Where are you standing? East or West Berlin? Shut the hell up.
We can't believe the United States, who, by the way, funded all of the defense of Europe, if you look at NATO, we can't believe that they don't want to fund it anymore. They expect us to honor our agreements. And we can't believe that the fascists in the United States want the people of the European Union to be able to access information that the government deems unacceptable. There's a new path forward. You have to pick your side. I have.
Yes, we have.
I have. Good guy, bad guy. By the way, yeah, you could say it's reductive. I know there's a gray area. If you watch debates, if you watch Change My Mind, we'll deal with that. But you do have a choice to make, and it's becoming more stark. And I'll say good guy, bad guy. You know what? Bad guy, the supplement industry. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
A lot of conservative influencers out there. They'll just say, hey, buy this, buy that. And they know that it doesn't work. That's why the only other company that I've created, Foundation. It's a daily multivitamin supplement. You can go to foundationdaily.com and get 40% off for life. It would cost you about $150 a month to put this together. It's transparent. There are certificates of analysis. There are no proprietary blends. All of the clinical data is there on the website, just like the show, completely transparent and more affordable. We wanted to do this and put this together for you because it's something that you can actually use. And if you have a perfect diet, you have no aches and pains, cholesterol is great, you don't need it. If you want to fill in the gaps, if you have some joint pain, what's in there, the clinical dose of curcumin, turmeric, and garlic is really good for your lipids, cholesterol, blood pressure, great. Hey, support it if you want. If not, that's fine. I'm not going to sell you some balm with, I don't know, some new colloidal silver or whatever it is.
Okay.
It's just, you know, I feel like I've beaten the clock because I've been around for a really long time doing this.
Yeah.
So we're just going to let our flag fly at this point. I don't think Canada should be a country.
Yep.
I'm not going to sell your stupid, crappy supplements. And I think that Europe is a silly place. And frankly, I think they are more enemy than friend. That's where I line up. Let me give you more proof here. Well, first, let me do that by asking a question. All right. In your mind. Mind's up. Close your eyes. What do you think? Which demographic commits the most crime per capita? Okay, there's an objective answer.
Yep.
Do you have it in your head? All right, that's racist. There you go. That's racist. So the media in the public eye, they've decided now to edit, censor media to reflect the exact opposite of that. Now, I know that you might say, well, hold on a second, if it's inaccurate and if it's actually directing us to perceive a threat where maybe it doesn't exist statistically while ignoring a real threat, none of that matters because progress. So here is a PSA that was pulled. It was the Transport for London, I guess, department. They were forced to pull this Would You Know How to Act for a Friend campaign. And the reason that they pulled it, even though you'll watch this and see that it includes a white person and a black person, is, you guessed it, it reflected poorly on black people. So we can't have that, even though it was a 50-50 split.
Why did you not want to talk to me, man? I said you look good and you don't want to go out with me. Hello? Can you hear me?
Seeing someone else uncomfortable makes you uncomfortable.
Okay. I'm just going to rapid fire this for you. The real statistics, by the way, non-whites are about 16% of the population in UK, 60% of the top 100 sex offender suspects, 38% of arrests on trains, 29% of the prison population. The black arrest rate is 2 times that of the white rate, not to mention migrants in the UK. If you are a woman and you are out alone and you want to be, you don't want to get Zarutska, guess what? The numbers come back over and over and over again. It doesn't mean all, it doesn't even mean most migrants are black people. But it means if you are going to be the victim of a sex crime, particularly on public transport in the UK, the most likely perpetrator is not a white Englishman.
The man in the grey suit is staring at you. Would you report it?
These are all the other ads, though, with the realistic-looking criminals. Not both.
Don't touch me, I don't want to touch you.
Nice. Oh, I was just looking at her. I was just looking at her ass.
Are all the women being harassed going to be minorities?
Would you report it?
Yes.
Yep.
Say it.
I guess it's all of them.
She might like it. Just ask her if she needed a daddy. Crisp. Go on, have a crisp.
Oh, there you go. Oh, it's a white girl.
Have a crisp.
I think this is a meme.
A little bit rude, to be honest. God, geez, am I really that bad? Just saying. I know where she lives.
God.
How's this wrong?
Probably wouldn't know a good thing if it slaps her in the face. So I'd gladly do it for Sarah again. Mate, what did I do now?
Stop! Just stop, man. You can't be saying that, bro. That's serious stuff.
Oi, look at the body on that. Hey, give us a smile.
Mate.
It's rude to ignore people, you know.
Mate, that's not okay.
What are you doing?
That's enough.
Male violence against women and girls can start with words.
Thank God he was there to put the white guy in his place.
All of them. It's not just that the white guy was the bad guy. It was that the savior every single one of those times was a black guy going,
and usually the victim was a black woman.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Everything that the left tries to tell you is untrue. Everything they try to push as a social engineering experiment is untrue. Hey, you're just as likely to be the victim of a violent crime as a white person, from a white person. No, you're not. Hey, as a matter of fact, it's very often black women who are sexually harassed by it, but no, that's not true. And I can even go one step further. Not only the crime statistics, which I gave you, when they have done interracial sort of dating dynamics where they have people of all different races rate, or on a scale, an attractiveness scale, members of other races, comes back time and time and time and time again. Women rating men, it's usually black men, white men up there, unfortunately Asian men least attractive, Hispanics somewhere between them. When men rate women, Asian women, most attractive, white women, Latina women, least attractive, black women. I know you'll say that study's racist, but you could take it up with the thousands of participants. So it's far less likely to occur based on immutable characteristics and attraction, and then statistically, it's less likely to occur because of the demographic numbers that we have. And then they try and convince you that not only does nature not exist, but your very nature is wrong and evil. Now, I'm not saying that one white guy is like, hey, okay, but the part that he says, like, what? I was just looking at her. We've seen other ads where they go, man, you can't look at her. You can't go up and hit on her. That's designed to make you, as a man, feel guilty for liking to look at women. Think about that. We were concerned about Christian conservatives pearl clutching, right? Trying to ban porn at one point in time. South Park. And now the left wants men to feel bad for looking at women. Nothing they tell you is true. As a matter of fact, it's a lie to separate and pull you away from the truth. Why do you think, unless you believe it's true that men don't like or men shouldn't like looking at women, or unless you believe it's true that the most likely sexual assault scenario is a white man and a black woman. These are most likely scenarios. Do you believe that? If not, why is the left lying to you about reality all the time? Why are they trying to alter it? Even when white people don't commit the crime, when you look at the UK, Europe wants you to know that white people are actually still responsible.
Never asked why
what we
these
did,
things are
what we
happening.
did after the terror attacks was we came together and we stuck up for each other.
But you've never asked why are those things happening?
Of course we have.
Why are they happening?
Of course we have, because people like you are dividing
So I'm
people.
responsible for the massive news arena
That's not what
buying
I've just
now.
said. That's not what
Because
I
we
just
have
said.
very real issues with integration, and I've even had lots of minority Brits in this seat say exactly the same
Jackie
thing
Pierce
to
for
me.
Liberal.
I wonder if we could, here's the thing. You may not like him, and you certainly may not like her. You have a difference of opinion. Is there a tiebreaker here? Oh, well, yeah, the recent increase in violent crimes and rapes correlates directly with the influx of migrants, along with the statistics as to who is committing them. Keep in mind, that's using Europe's own sources, particularly the UK, where they actually hid grooming gangs. So we're being very generous here. I'm quite certain the number is higher. But none of that matters. None of it matters. I mean, hey, let me ask you this. You think Zarutska might have been safer if she had been properly educated on identifying more likely potential threats? I know it's racist. Is it a worse world where a single white woman doesn't get on the train because she understands that it may not be that safe, despite the left telling you that public transit is a more viable form of transportation than having your own car? Is that a worse world, or is it also a worse world where if she looked and saw DeCarlos Brown Jr., said, you know what, that probably seems like a chance I don't want to take. I don't want to make that calculated risk. Is that worse because it would be racist if we live in a world where she's alive? Now take that and multiply it by 1,000. What kind of a world do you think we would have if the most likely victims, white and Asian women, set as a course of action, if it's late at night and it's a migrant who doesn't speak English, or someone who looks like they're from the latest mixtape that dropped, I'm going to wait for the next car. Okay, maybe you're uncomfortable with it. Now do it using your daughter or your wife. Is that a worse world? No, I get it. The ad reflects poorly on a black guy, even though a white guy is there, who, by the way, is distinctly shittier looking. It reflects poorly on black people, so it has to go. And in trying to whitewash and re-engineer stereotypes on both sides of the ledger, they've done this across the board. They also recast Wall Street.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is dope. Greed is dope, motherfucker.
It's less sinister.
It is.
It's Wall Street.
Yeah.
The Brooks Brothers.
Yeah. We was Wall Street Kangs. Boys in the street. Now, they even replaced, there's nothing whiter than Tim Burton. They even replaced Johnny Depp reflected again poorly on white people from the newly named Edward Sig Sauerhands.
He's got something in his hands. Looks like Sig's.
Drop your weapon!
I didn't do nothing. In that case, if they're SIGs, he may not have.
Yeah, those might be 320s.
It's true. Yeah, they just go off.
And you know, I've said this on this show multiple times. Like, if you think that we have racism here in the United States, just go anywhere in Asia, right? You have no idea.
Or Europe.
Yeah.
For that matter.
But certainly the Asians.
Yeah, they take the cake.
The level of prejudice. But here's the thing. I said that kind of because it's sort of funny because they all look alike. To us, you know, a Japanese and a Chinese man, or a Chineman, or a Koreaman.
They don't all look the same. There's like 5 different.
There's like 5 models.
Yeah. Like a video game.
Kind of like stencils.
Yeah.
It's like a semi-custom home. The Asians. So they look far more similar to us, Japanese and Chinese people, than, for example, an American white person and an American black person. But I will say, now understanding their level of racism, like I kind of get it, especially when you look at their commercials. Like, they're not afraid of offending black people. This is just a fun watch. Thailand.
Oh my God. What is he supposed to be mimicking?
Somebody climbing a pole, Josh.
My gosh.
What's the matter with you?
That's so sweet.
Oh, well, that's sad. Just trying to do the right thing. Sleep it off, big guy.
Wait, what?
He's sleeping on a tooth.
Oh. Oh my God.
The prestige.
It's a toothbrush.
So that wasn't
commercial?
even a PSA.
No.
And by the way, I love how the marketing consultants there started off with like, of course, black toothpaste is bad. People don't like a black, so we have to address. Let's show a black man.
Climbing a pole.
Let's say he's not that bad. The whole thing is based of the premise that clearly everyone in Thailand thinks that black people are monkey-like, right?
Yes,
well, here's some toothpaste.
And I know it's slack, but hear me out.
It's good. It's a good toothpaste.
You know what? I used to think that guys who went to Thailand all the time were weird and probably doing weird stuff, but you know, I may become one.
Just for toothpaste?
Just for toothpaste.
I'll get you the Crest charcoal if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
On my show, I connected some dots here. You know, I had to fill in some gaps with the creative license. But if you're interested in I want was, you know, what how is it?
can't or shouldn't make boba tea, which frankly I think sucks to begin with, but watch.
I am studying your can, and I am looking for anything that tells me where boba came from. And where boba came from is Taiwan. You know, I started this venture company for a lot of reasons, but really primarily to uplift minority entrepreneurs. And not only do I feel like this is not happening here, but that I would be uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural heritage. I want to be a part of bringing boba to the masses, but not like this. So for that reason, I'm out.
Like this.
Thanks.
Not like this. Fucking white people.
It makes me sad how successful this business is. It makes me sad that people are, you know, they're drinking boba with a raccoon with a sun.
It doesn't mean that they don't have the opportunity to change and do that.
That's true, but there has to be a willingness, and I have to be able to invest in these founders knowing that
Right, but they
change is possible.
didn't say no. The collaboration that they've had to this point is with their supplier in Taiwan. And if nobody else has told them that before, you can't put that all on them.
By the way, this is why he's also a terrible human being, but this is most of the left. See, they'll say you're racist if you say, you know, it makes me sad or it makes me upset that X person committed this crime, or that X person, you know, has taken advantage of another. That's typically what conservatives, you know, we say this is impermissible. We need to bridle human sinful nature. The left says, it makes me sad that this person is successful. It makes me sad that this business is successful. It makes me sad, it makes me upset that this person started a business and has too much money and they wage class warfare. But it's more wrong for you to say, you're upset that people commit crime, right? They're upset for success. You're upset for criminality. Also, he's from China, not Taiwan. He did try and clarify his remarks quite poorly shortly thereafter.
First and foremost, I want to say I think we hit on a really important discussion about cultural appropriation, that it is how
Seriously. You wouldn't be mad if they were black.
How is something exploitative rather than kind of paying homage and paying respect.
You're using electricity to power your smartphone while wearing jeans. Tell me, Ben, about cultural appropriation.
Death threats and harassment and otherwise just kind of bullying and dogpiling. And I just want to say that full stop, it's never okay to make threats. It's never okay to bully and harass online. And what I mean by that, I don't mean, I don't mean that, the business owners don't deserve valid criticism, and I don't believe that you should not be vocal about your disagreement. But, I think we can all agree, common sense, there's a line.
There's nothing about your statements that involve common sense. And that's why it's time for the latest installment of What a Piece of Shit. Yeah.
Another thing too is he's mad that they didn't put that boba comes from Taiwan on the can. After he said that he wouldn't invest in a minority anyway. He failed to mention that no boba companies putting that tapioca comes from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
The boba, the balls it's tapioca. It doesn't come from Taiwan. It comes from Brazil.
Yeah. Also, you know what?
Key element.
You're mad about appropriation. How about you go after all the Hispanic chefs who make Chinese food in America?
Oof, and Canada.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing this like you have to respect where these things come from. What about IP in China?
Yeah.
You guys like the technology. Do all of your iPhones say "Thank God America invented this"?
Am I not allowed to use fireworks anymore?
Maybe not, because it doesn't say "Proud Heritage of China."
It's all right. No more electricity for them.
So,
these guys.
I'll get into this with you a little. This guy, Shang-Chi is the most famous film. It was the first Marvel film, funny enough, to be denied screening in China because he accidentally referred to China as the third world. And
Actually,
I say accidentally because he didn't mean to, but it is.
Yeah, but it is. And I think it was just that it was bad and they needed cover.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How about we just be racist against one of our own instead of saying the movie sucks?
Yeah, but even then, he's really trying to get back in their good graces because he is basically a communist, not even in disguise. He's just another white-hating Asian.
We're talking white-hating Asians who don't even live in Asian nations. Let the commie participate.
What's that for appropriation? So let me give you a few examples as to why. He's a huge, identity politics person, and funny enough, a huge fan of Eileen Gu. Remember the person who, the traitor?
Yeah. Born here, grew up in the United States,
yes.
trained here, took advantage
Decided
of
to make money. The kind of money that is never afforded to
China.
Chinese citizens, but
right.
someone is semi-American, they want to kind of steal a draft pick.
Competed against Americans.
Right, exactly. Well, or champion. She is the people's champion, according to this guy. He actually wrote this on X. He wrote, "I am so freaking proud of Eileen Gu. Inspirational, resilient, intelligent, and well-spoken in 2 languages. Asian representation at the Winter Olympics is just sublime. It's so phenomenal to see so many Asians who grew up all over the world shining on the world's biggest stage. You're undeniable. Bravo." Well, I tell you what could be denied. Her citizenship. What a piece of shit.
How gay to say you're undeniable.
Also, just think about this. Asians, so many Asians who grew up all over the world. Also, Asians born not in Asia.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't you be American?
Right.
Oops. Didn't you champion that Bad Bunny We're All America thing?
Yeah.
And then, but you're not American?
You're not American. They're all
you're
Asian.
an Asian from all over the world.
It's also funny. They always do this. They go like, don't say Chinese. We're supposed to say Asian because you can't say Oriental anymore, which really would be more accurate.
Bring that back.
It's like, but you say Asian. I bet you the Japanese would like to have your ear for a minute. They don't want to be lumped in with you. This idea that they're all Asian, the infighting, the factions amongst the Asians historically, like you don't know the level of discrimination and cruelty. So when
No. He got it right. One day the world will be all China.
Right.
No. He got wrong. One day, whole world will be Japan.
No, China.
Japan,
China
Pan-Pacific
better.
superior race. Okay, I know. Let's just settle by seeing who has a more daughter. Oh, that's right. You kill all them. Oh, the rest of the world want to be China? Ladies in America, I hope you don't wreck your feet unless it's super tiny.
They hate each other. Generally, I'd side with the Japanese on that one. So Gordon Chang brought up Gu's allegiance to China, which we've covered. And Liu just lost his mind. He wrote, "Shut your trash mouth and pander your dumb shit somewhere else." Well, except his is accurate.
Yes.
You piece of shit.
I'm a child.
A little bit, yeah. It's okay, though.
The reason it bothers Americans so much, again, going back to the Gu thing, is because these people, they stand on the shoulders, and so do you, Simu, of what the United States built to try and say someone else could build it better, but they never did.
And then these same people will lecture us.
Yes.
On what America is and how we should be patriotic.
Yeah.
No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to lecture me on anything American if you compete against Americans competing for one of our biggest rivals.
Right, exactly right.
Oh, go to college over there. Don't go to Stanford. Don't live in the United States.
Well, here he also is defending and championing Mamdani. So in October of 25, conservative Vince Dow tweeted out about Mamdani. He said, "As an Asian, I feel I have authority on rice. Eating rice with your hands is gross, strange, and barbaric. Nobody in my family has ever done this. He acts like utensils were never invented."
It's true.
Well, of course, enter Shang-Chi, Simu, whatever his name. He got pissed off. He wrote, "You don't have authority on jack shit. You're just putting your own culture down to try to make yourself more palatable to white conservatives, you dumb bitch. Acting like people don't get their hands dirty eating pizza or ribs or tacos. Shut the F up." Yeah, but you don't, though. You don't really get all that dirty. Like, I understand that it can happen if you get pizza that's too greasy or tacos, but the whole thing, like, that's why it's surrounded by relatively dry bread or crust. Ribs, you may have a point, but that's because there's a bone on it. Also, people in China aren't eating them with their hands. You guys have chopsticks. Not as advanced as the fork, but it's better than eating with hands. You feel the need to defend anyone who is just category not America while you benefit from the United States, you piece of shit. Here's another one. And this one comes from Lane the Brain. That this guy's he's basically a Chinese imperialist who wants to steal from Koreans. So remember his own words. He wrote, "I wouldn't want to be uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural heritage." I think he was talking about boba tea.
Boba tea.
But he's Chinese, right?
Yeah, Chinese.
Okay. He's not Taiwanese?
Not Taiwanese.
I don't know. Whatever.
No.
Well, time will tell.
Separate
Okay. All right. Depends on who he's talking to.
One
that
day.
But here's the thing.
All China.
Liu got his big break when he landed a role on Kim's Convenience. And he was playing, wait for it, a Korean.
Very casually, he says, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm doing this show called Kim's Convenience. We're turning it into a TV show, and I'm going to be looking for people soon." And he just kind of left it at that. Then I hear nothing from him for, I think, almost 6 months. And then in February the next year, I got a call to come in and audition. I mean, I knew that my life would change, but in 1,000 years, I never would have predicted that it would become this kind of phenomenon. It's the single most amazing, incredible thing that's ever happened to me.
Well, why does he get to steal a role from a Korean?
Oh, come on.
Bobby Lee shouldn't have a shot?
He should get the shot.
Think about that. Yeah, but
that would be great, by the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do this because, I wouldn't want to see someone... I wouldn't want to support a business that's near and dear to my heart, even though I'm Chinese and it's Taiwanese, so I'm trying to appropriate that there and act as really basically anything Asian sort of fusion is me. It's my thing. Also, I'm going to take the roles from Koreans because I know that most people can't tell the difference. We all look quite similar. And then lament that there were too many white writers. He did. He actually complained about that.
way.
He took a role from a Korean...
Oh my God.
And then wrote, "It was always my understanding that the lead actors were the stewards of character." Korean actors for a Korean role would be better. I don't know if the history, like Korea, China, it's not all friendly, just to be clear. So, the actors were the stewards of character. First off, that's wrong, you self-important prick.
Is this the writers. The guy that can't write is saying this?
Yes, the guy that can't write.
Oh, okay.
And would grow to have more creative insight as the show went on. Yeah, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't because you didn't create the show that was created for Koreans, you racist Chinaman. This was not the case on our show, which was doubly confusing because our producers were overwhelmingly white. And we were a cast of Asian Canadians who had a plethora of lived experiences to draw from and offer to writers. So the white writers...
Who existed, by the way.
Yeah.
They exist.
Yes.
Which is the reason your show was able to be a show.
Right.
Okay.
So the white writers should draw from your lived experience as a Chinese Canadian on how to write Koreans? You piece of shit.
Dude, he said producers too. In that last one, he said producers.
Right.
People don't know what producers do.
They produce things.
Yeah, it's like there's not like you. They're the ones that made the show.
Yeah. How about just
they came up with the show? It's their fault that you have a show.
Yes,
right.
Indeed. How about you just say thank you and maybe just take responsibility for having bad ideas?
Right.
It's not.
Well, he doesn't have any ideas. He doesn't have any ideas. You know what his idea was for the boba tea company? He's like, you should put Taiwan on there. Oh, thank you. Hey, you know what I think you should do is you should listen to more Asians. You mean Koreans? Just Asians, good enough. This guy is just a race grifter. He's a hateful, bigoted little person. And before you guys go, he's Canadian, the market is dictated by the United States, all right?
Yeah.
He's doing American films, and Canada only exists because of the United States military. This man he's a very slight, just sort of ball of hate. He's a Chinese Canadian Al Sharpton, I guess. He actually even wrote more proof about anti-Asian racism without acknowledging truth, by the way. Here's the thing. I get it. There is anti-Asian racism.
Yeah.
But not in the way he describes. He wrote this in Variety. He wrote, "Most disappointing of all, I've watched as you, the bystanders and witnesses, have stood idly by and simply not cared enough to speak up. Most of you don't even believe that racism exists against Asian people." But he only talks about like white people being racist, and an example that he pulls is from 1982. Keep in mind that blacks commit 27% of all violent attacks against Asians. Actually, they're like 305% more likely to commit violence against Asians than any other neighborhood statistics would actually, like, it's not even close. Remember there was that stat, there was a small study because they don't want to study it because every time they study interracial crime, it gets really, really bad. It was like 85% of all violent crimes in the Bay Area, all were committed by blacks against Asians. Every time you study it, you discover what you already knew to be true, that black Americans tend to beat the shit out of Asians far more often than white people. Nothing about this guy is genuine, including playing a Korean. And by the way, I don't even know that he's an actor because the jury has been in for a long time. He's a token hire. We have proven empirically Asians can't act.
The press.
Just like this here.
서동양 냄새가 봅니다. 우리가 위생에 워낙에 치중하다 보니까.
부원장님한테나 disgusting shit.
Oh, what time is it?
Is it time for our CIA rendezvous yet?
Speaking of the devil himself.
How's it going, James?
The name is Pond. James Pond.
I think you're afraid.
You said that this morning. And yet, here I am.
What is your name change logic? You going into hiding and your name is Michael, you want to change it to Michael.
That's not what happened.
It's like, hi, my name's Gina. I'm gonna go into hiding. My new name is Gina.
Okay, I'm
But they can sing. Hey, wait, isn't your favorite show Shogun?
Most of them are horrible actors.
Come on.
No, I don't agree with you.
Admit it.
I don't agree with you on this.
You don't have to agree with me.
And Jackie Chan is a national treasure in two nations.
You're right. He is the finest actor that we have seen.
No, I will say this: he was better than Chris Tucker when they were side by side, but that's not saying much.
No,
they were. No. You guys. It's borderline blasphemy here.
Not. By the way, also
that was a perfect coupling, and that's an amazing movie. I don't want to hear you trash Rush Hour again.
Also, don't you love that the sort of emblematic example that you have out there of a successful Asian actress is Awkwafina, whose entire career is predicated on stealing other people's material? Isn't that fun? Her song, the Vagina song, was literally a ripoff of the penis song of My Dick. She ripped it off and be like, oh, what a tremendous talent. Why? Because she's Asian, she's a woman, and this is probably the best acting we're going to get out of one of them. Back to this guy. You know what? I'm done. What a piece of shit. All right. But the thing is, we've just talked about people who are, at worst, unnerving. We're going to need to get to the real threat. And thank God CNN has a documentary about it. But before we get to that, hey, if you are not a Rumble Premium member, Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. Everything that we do, including investigative journalism, the Friday show, everything we do is funded by viewers like you. We don't do a telethon with Jerry Lewis calling kids a faggot.
We could.
But we could. $99 a year to get this the OG hand-etched mug, or you can try it for $9 a month. All this goes away if we don't have your support. And hey, if not, let us earn it tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Otherwise, you're still going to go on to watch Tim Pool, and it's all free. But Sunday.
Sorry, I got to take this note. Sketch idea. Jerry Lewis calling kids. Okay, I got the note.
It's not a sketch. It's just a clip.
It happened.
Oh, that happened.
Yeah, it really happened.
He called a man's son on his telethon an illiterate fag.
Yeah.
We'll roll the clip in Mug Club. As a matter of fact,
what?
But before that, CNN. You know what? Let's find the fag clip. Toolman, let's help. I need to go find it. The fag clip.
Yeah,
let's go to, where's the illiterate fag?
Tuesday night.
He didn't even say I'm kidding. He just said no.
He just said no.
He didn't even say I'm kidding.
No, you're not welcome, illiterate fag. All right, we are back, and I guess we have that clip. Josh has never seen it. The Jerry Lewis telethon. It was for. Was it for muscular dystrophy? Dystrophy?
He did muscular dystrophy.
Yeah. Okay.
He
Muscular
did,
dystrophy, not MS. So we have this. This is the old Jerry Lewis telethon, where he said this on air back in the day. When he could just say, "I'm kidding."
Yeah, you can just get away with anything.
You remember Bart, your oldest son, Jesse, the illiterate faggot? No.
He didn't even say I'm kidding. He just said no.
He said no.
He didn't even say I'm
I was
kidding.
like, no, you're not welcome, illiterate fag.
By the way, he raised a ton of money.
He did. He did. The guy's like, he was thinking it, man.
I said it. I'm contributing money to that fag hating guy over there.
This illiterate fag, but don't worry, it doesn't have MDS.
Yeah.
But these kids, they got MDS. They need your money.
They're all kinds of messed up. Come on, shake for the camera. Now.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Steven didn't say it.
No.
It was him.
Jerry Lewis said it.
That's all I say now is no.
No.
That's
he
erases it.
Did he
No.
also like murder his wife or something?
I have no idea if that's Jerry Lewis murder. And this is news to me.
Something. I think he murdered his wife.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
No, he murdered
A little
the hearts.
serious. He did something.
He murdered the hearts of Americans with laughter.
Yeah.
He did something to somebody.
Well, I tell you what, the people who are doing the most things to the most bodies. I was trying to segue.
Yeah,
Nice try.
This Sunday, CNN is going to air a documentary about Christian nationalism and how it's the real threat.
You believe the civil government should be guided and dictated by biblical law, right?
Pamela Brown explores the rise of Christian nationalism.
We've never seen it happen as fast as what's happening in the United States right now.
And its growing political influence.
I think that Christian nationalism is going to reshape democracy.
In this one
What
nation,
about
of
Islam?
It already did.
Is liberty for all.
We know the way that they treat women. We know how bad it is.
Sunday at 8 on CNN.
I don't. By the way,
Shut the. What?
Please pull. So they were talking about this on CNN earlier. The women sitting around on a couch talking about this. The girl who just said, "You know how bad they treat women," or whatever it was. I guarantee you, there's more there. They just did it a minute ago. So if we can find that clip, I saw it, made a note. I was like, I have to shred this because I know they're not gonna take this seriously.
Christian nationalism may reshape the face of our democracy. Oh, hold on a second. One nation under God. Let's start there, faggot.
Or it may return it to its roots.
It's literally, it's like, you know what? We kind of did.
Protestant.
We kind of did. Oh, my God. And they're just going to show a few clips. What they're not going to show is what they're actually preaching.
I know.
We know how they treat women. Islam's like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Or hold
No,
my,
you just don't understand. It's beautiful.
apple juice. They don't drink beer.
Yeah.
They will accuse you of fear-mongering regarding Islamic immigration, where they've now taken over entire cities, right? That's just, come on, that's hate, that's fear-mongering. Let me show you the danger of Christian nationalism. All right. Okay. Now, let me know if we find that clip. This is actually Pamela Brown, I guess, who have helped build networks of churches and schools designed to instill a strict, literal interpretation of the Bible. Love thy neighbor, oh fuck. Sorry. She also speaks with women who are former church members, sharing accounts of religious trauma, rigid gender roles. My God! Like they believe men are stronger than women? Yeah. And in some cases, abuse within Christian nationalist communities.
Come on.
Okay.
It said prominent religious leaders. They showed like 2 or 3 of them. One of them was wearing overalls.
Yeah,
I think that was.
How prominent is this Mario guy?
It's me, Christian nationalist.
It looked like it looked like he was in a tiny church. How prominent is he? Or did you find a couple radical people from the backwoods of West Virginia and then just go, Christian nationalism is sweeping the nation? What?
I know.
It actually, so listen, Christian nationalism is a very hot topic right now, but not in the way that they are talking about it. It's a return to traditional Christian values that does not interpret the Bible literally. That is not the correct way to think about it, but it does take the Bible seriously when it talks about issues clearly. That is a difference, because they're like, well, God said he was a hen and he would cover you with his feathers. Is that literal? Should you pluck out your own eye if it causes you to sin? Is that no? But I take it seriously to make sure that I don't sin, even if it goes so far as doing something uncomfortable to make it happen.
Yeah, not only, you know what, let's steel man their argument here, okay? Let's base this on reality, sort of Christian, and there is a return to, you know, the Catholic Church is growing, the Orthodox Church is growing, and the Protestant Church has been seeing their numbers dwindle or not grow as they have in the past because people feel like they've been failed by the Protestant Church in a lot of ways. And I say this as a Protestant. These are legitimate gripes. And I know that in the past people have said I'm anti-Catholic because of my issues with the Pope, but hopefully you can see the at least attempt at objectivity. I get it. Also, if you look at divorce statistics, they're far lower in the Catholic and the Orthodox Church. They're the same in the American Protestant Church as they are in secular society. So it's not working. The results aren't working right now with the current iteration of the Protestant Church, and it doesn't really mean anything is a problem. All right, but let's steel man their argument. Knowing the rise in Christian nationalism, meaning a lot of people are returning to more traditional churches and more people and more educated, more successful people now, which is why they're really worried, are leaning into the church. Okay, let's paint the world that they're really afraid of. All right, the bad, according to them. The bad would be, obviously, you wouldn't have abortions in the country anymore. If Christian nationalists had their way, this is what would change tomorrow. I can tell you this. There might be slight variances, but this is what you would see. The bad. Abortion would be outlawed outside of rape and incest, most likely. You would have fewer women in the workforce because they would be at home with the family. You wouldn't have women in combat roles in the military. You would probably have people saying the Pledge of Allegiance. You would have schools, of course, identifying, recognizing that there are two biological genders. You would have very harsh on crime policies, to be clear. There'd be none of the five-finger discount under $999. You would have peaceful protests, but you wouldn't have violent ones. That would be clamped down on pretty damn quickly. And you would see gender roles in the differences between men and women. You probably would have a society like we used to have where men largely went out to the workforce and women stayed home and raised their kids. You'd probably have fewer daycares, for example. You'd probably have more homeschooling. This is probably how it would go if the people they're concerned about were to put their beliefs into practice. En masse. But the good that you would have, also I should say divorce laws would change, of course. No-fault divorce would go away. And it would go back to the way it used to be, where either there's infidelity, in which case, you pay out the nose, as you did before, or physical abuse, in which case you pay out the nose, or the fault would be abandonment, where you chose to not work on your marriage and you leave. So you wouldn't have women, for example, cheating, leaving and taking half anyway. That wouldn't happen anymore. And if someone left, barring physical abuse or infidelity, they'd leave with what they came with. That would be a foundational shift because it would change custody laws. It would change the way divorce. It would lower divorce, to be clear. We'd have an anti-divorce society, a pro-marriage society, and an anti-divorce society. That's a nightmare to feminists. The good, though, that you would have is you would have far lower unemployment because we believe that you'll toil by the sweat of your brow. We believe that you have to go forth and subdue the earth, that you need to work, you eat what you kill. That's what Christians believe. You would have far less drug use. You would have more stable households. You would have lower divorce rates. You would have a higher tax base, and you would have stronger communities. And you would have what we lack now, a third place where people would congregate in the church. That's really what speech laws would, of course, be absolute. You'd probably have Second Amendment laws be strengthened, meaning pro-Second Amendment laws be strengthened. You definitely would have voter ID. You'd have election integrity. That's really what it would look like. Yeah, that's what it would look like. Okay? Now do Sharia law.
To set up your
you know what?
screen reader,
Just use Dearborn as an example. You don't have to go there. Just go to secular humanism. Do that.
Yeah.
You see what that's produced around the world and here?
Now, see, they look at Canada. They look at Canada today. 5% of their deaths are euthanasia. They look at that versus pre-1965 United States, and they prefer Canada.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. That's what the left believes. You do have to pick a side. And I know people say, oh, blacks couldn't vote. No, that was, again, Republicans who passed the Civil Rights Act. This was a deeply held Christian worldview. That's the reason we fought a civil war. It was largely biblically based because we are a Christian nation founded by Christian nationalists. So, that's what you would see. You may not like it, but you can pick. Do you prefer Canada, where men compete against women and 26-year-olds with seasonal depression are executed, and abortion on demand, taxpayer funded, period, and children can be taken away from their parents if they don't allow the transition, puberty blockers, sterilizers? The left says yes. The left says yes. That's why they fear Christian nationalism. And the reason they fear it too is because they know what you know. They know that you cannot fill a void, a vacuum. For example, they've seen in Europe, where the church is gone, it's largely a secular society. You can't fill it with nothing. It's been filled with Islam. Their concern is that in the United States, we have a purpose epidemic. We have an epidemic of mostly young men, by the way, feeling purposeless, but also young women. And being able to instill a sense of purpose and something greater than oneself is a very, very powerful tool. Now, used wrongly, you have men who are willing to die and take as many infidels with them. Used properly, you have someone who's willing to lay down his life for his family and his wife. They're really afraid of that very powerful tool, a purpose, being given to young Americans again, taking hold.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing this.
Yeah. And it's also, conflated with, a theocracy. And that's not what people are calling for when you talk about Christian nationalism. It's basically return it to what it was like when our founders were like, hey, we want to set up a nation.
Right.
Right before then, if you look at those state constitutions, you had to be a member in good standing in a church to be in leadership in most of those cases. Maybe not all, but I think the vast majority had some kind of qualifications that said, hey, it's not that you're going to become our spiritual leader, though you are in a leadership role. But when people look at you, we want them to see the values that we all hold. The Christian values that we hold. We're not gonna make you become like the guy who says anything and now you're like the Pope. That's not what we're doing here. And that's what people think, like, oh, okay, you just want to put a Christian up there and it's going to be like the Ayatollah, except the Christian version of an Ayatollah, enforcing Christianity on everybody below. It's like, no, you can still worship who you want to worship.
Yeah.
But this nation was founded by people that believed a thing.
Yeah.
And we fought and died for it, and we're not just going to give it up freely. Well, we kind of did.
Right.
And that's the sad part.
What it would really be would be how George Washington or Thomas Jefferson had a vision for that. I mean, people say separation of church and state. That's found nowhere in the Constitution.
He prayed right after being inaugurated, or not inaugurated, but sworn in.
Yeah. And Benjamin Franklin did, I think. It was before the first actual, I think it was a congressional sort of committee hearing, or the adjoining, whatever you call it back then. I don't know if they called it the same terms we use now, because, I mean, nothing was really the same back then. We kind of expanded a little bit. Our flag was different. But Jefferson, for example, this was a man who, of course, believed that you could only have freedom for a moral people, and wrote in a letter to the Danbury Baptist privately. The same guy who said, well, we have to be a Christian nation. That's requirement, right? By the way, of course, to be a part of our highest positions in government, one has to be a Christian here in this country. But of course, no, man, there's going to be no state denomination. We left the Church of England. So get in your church, but don't ever let anyone tell you that you have to be in a specific church in that state. We're never going to allow that. That's what we're talking about returning to. Hey, doesn't that sound great? Oh, one more thing I forgot. You'd also have a lot more charity.
A lot.
Because Christian conservatives, regardless of income level, period, not even close. No other religion, no other demographic is more generous. Full stop. That's it. So you'd have that too. Probably a lot of soup kitchens. All right. Did we have that clip of those cackling hags that Gerald was talking about? No? I thought he said he saw it somewhere.
No, I did. It was on CNN probably, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes or an hour ago.
As opposed to Chucky growing her hair long right now?
Yeah. It's CNN? Okay. We can talk about it another time, but I'm sure the documentary, once it's released on Sunday, will be must watch.
Yeah. We'll definitely be covering that next week. And let us know if you want us to broadcast the State of the Union, I believe it's Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
We haven't done a live stream at night, like a special stream with the drinking game in a long time. So, let us know. Of course, if we do that, that means we miss some morning shows because it ends up going late into the night.
But one of the things we want to do, we've talked about this too, is actually be there for the rebuttal and also fact-checking the fact-checkers, which happens after that. So traditionally, we'd go into that a little bit, but this time we would go into that pretty heavily. And, say, hey, good Trump, bad Trump. He does some good things, very good things. But some of the things we don't like.
The way we would plan on covering it is during the applause breaks, which are quite numerous and quite long. We would either substantiate or clarify facts that you're hearing, provide you resources, and then afterwards fact-check the fact-checkers. And, of course, what do they call it? Do they call it the rebuttal?
It's
the State of the Union counter statement? What is it when...
I don't know. I think counter was... But I don't think that's an official name.
I still remember when it torpedoed Bobby Jindal's career. People thought he was next in line.
Rubio. Do you remember Rubio?
Oh, yeah.
Rubio's star was way on the rise, and he gave, I think it's the rebuttal, and he ran, his mouth got dry.
Yeah.
And he had this very awkward, like, moment where he didn't just break and get water, and he was like, and people just like, oh, gosh, it's the water guy.
Yeah.
And then he finally awkwardly reaches off camera and has water.
That's why we have the spry stuff here, because when we go into the break, by the time you've been talking for an hour, it gets dry. But not when it's a 6-minute speech and you do it right off the bat. All right, Thursday, time for chats.
Chat. They're calling it the People's State of the Union, right? Is that what they said? So that's
yes.
Yeah,
and
but
Josh,
it's just the rebuttal.
Is it? When are you going to be in the happening city of Indiana?
Fort Wayne, Indiana, March 20th and 21st at Summit City Comedy Club. Used to be some kind of roller rink or something.
Oh, there's a ringing endorsement.
Is that like, you know, like
go see Josh live? It's at something that used to be a roller rink or something. Yes,
it was never a roller rink. I made that up.
Yeah, it used to be a sex club. I don't know.
Why'd you go there? That's not healthy. You need to check your man.
Why did he
You need
go
to
there?
check your heart, because I'm not seeing the fruit of the spirit.
Well,
Chat.
All right, first chat from Jess WL17.
Uh-huh.
Question for crew. With the SAVE Act, women are too dumb to register to vote, but yet Dems want a woman president, but can't define a woman. So are women too dumb? Leaders are non-existent.
Well, that's a very good point. You could even add to that, do women mature much faster than boys, and are they more sensible, or are they helpless little children at 24 years old who are being taken advantage of by a 35-year-old who dates somebody younger? Like, it's just, they always want it both ways. It's always it's always self-defeating, the feminist argument. Yeah, the idea that women are not going to be able to vote. That's, you know, they tried the racism thing. It didn't work because blacks were like, we're fine with ID. Like, yeah, it's racist against brown people. They're like, we're fine with voter ID. Like, yeah, it's bad for women. Because it's the only demographic in this country, dumb enough to be fired up with such a silly argument.
Women are too stupid to vote is basically what you're saying. It's like, but you have to have papers. Why would you have to have papers? Well, because when I got married, I changed my last name if I'm a woman. So you had to have papers to go show them that you got married and changed your last name, but you now cannot find them when you're registering to vote.
Yeah.
Are you sorry? Is this really the argument that we're having right now?
It is.
And states are actually making allowances for that to make sure that that process is seamless.
Yeah.
So it's blacks are too stupid, but now women, we're just getting down to like the lowest common denominator, I guess. I don't know.
Yep, pretty much. I remember, I'm always amazed at how easy it is.
Blacks are too stupid, aren't they?
They probably are.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed at how difficult it was for me to renew my license in Texas, because I remember waiting in line, going up, and I had my previous ID, I had another form of picture ID, and I don't know if you have to have two documents that have your social security number. So I brought in tax returns. They go, sorry, we can't. It's a tax ID number. I'm like, put it in the system. It's a social security number. It says tax ID. I'm like, you called it that, you little shit. Like, this isn't me. You guys used to tell us to tear up our social security card so that we wouldn't be the victim of identity fraud. I just brought in.
Who said that?
At the DMV.
Well,
I had to
a long time ago, before the internet.
I had to send someone. To go grab my social security card, because it was actually a really nice black guy. He's like, man, when you get the card, I'll help you out. I'll bring it to the front of the line. I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here. Kate, I made a phone call. Can you go get my social security card? They wouldn't take my tax returns that had my social security number. And that you could argue is a much more difficult barrier to entry than just bringing in your passport, as a woman can do, or bringing in your driver's license and your birth certificate, which I believe is another option. There are options to show people.
Yes, marriage license. Like, gosh, I mean, you have to keep up with like 3 whole pieces of paper, I think, maybe.
Yeah. From some of the most notable events in your life.
To be able to do the best thing, the voting thing, the thing that is the bedrock of this country outside of its Christian Protestant founding.
Yeah.
I keep my social security card right here in my wallet.
Oh.
Oh, really? That's a bad
idea. Don't you laminate it.
Just kidding. It's a Six Flags card.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I cut away because I didn't
stole your number.
Is he this dumb?
How much is on this gift card?
That's
0.
2 prop comedy jokes.
It's very nice.
I appreciate it. Use my wallet and my phone. Look at that. It must be the Hawaiian shirt. It must be the prop comic in me.
Gallagher's brother has nothing on you. Next chat.
I don't smash watermelons. I smash dragon fruits.
Nice. I don't even know what a dragon fruit is.
I don't either, but I think they're smaller.
Kiwis.
They're colorful.
They're kiwis?
No.
Yeah, I hit kiwis with a baseball bat.
When I think dragon fruit, I'm thinking star fruit. Or is dragon fruit the pink one with all the seeds?
I think it's the one that has the... it might have. I mean, all fruit has seeds, but
No,
I
it
think
has like a lot of seeds, like in a
it's like
starburst pattern.
It looks like a jacked up pineapple. It's got weird little spikes on the outside. I think that's the one.
There you go.
Yeah. See, that's what. Look at you being like gaslighting me. I don't know. Everything has seeds. Yeah, but not around where it looks like a planter's wart.
Right.
I mean, they do though. Kiwis have seeds all throughout it. You know, watermelons, you're always spitting those things out. You know,
No, you're not.
Strawberries, the seeds are on the outside.
I don't
It's the only
trust
fruit like that.
Yeah, I don't trust. I don't
not the only
trust a lot
fruit.
of. I love berries, but I don't
Seeds on
trust
the
them.
outside. Yes, it is.
I don't trust berries.
I
I don't
want to
trust cherry
admonish
tomatoes.
you so bad.
There are more. He just said that the strawberry is the only fruit with the seeds on the outside.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
Look it
retarded
up.
statement.
Look it up.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't have one to
that's fine.
rebuttal. I'm thinking, but
If I'm admonished, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Raspberries,
gotta-
they're kind of in the nooks and crannies,
Just
but are
look
they
it up.
all? they're not all-
raspberries. No, I think you're eating the seeds of the. I don't want to. I don't want to
Just tell
misspeak
me
here.
I'm right, Noodles.
I don't know. Maybe Gerald's right.
Don't tell him he's right.
The strawberry is the only common fruit with its seeds on
thank
the
you.
outside.
Common.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but this, yeah, you know why? Because this whole conversation started off with dragon fruit in uncommon fruit. And Gerald's like, can I basic bitch this up a little bit?
Yeah, it's so uncommon you could describe the inside and everybody would know it. That's how uncommon it is.
Please charm us with your thoughts on apples.
Here we go. Granny Smith.
Oh.
Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay for sure. No, I didn't. I wasn't a proponent.
I don't even know why Granny Smith and Red Delicious
Yeah,
are
I
like
don't
the
know.
most ubiquitous apple. They are clearly the lesser apples.
Well, some people like the sour. One, people like the sour. Two, the Granny Smith is a far superior cooking apple.
All right,
Well,
but not for
okay.
eating.
Yeah.
No, you eat them after you cook them. You know, fried apples, or
I
you make
know.
like an apple pie, or like
No, that's great, but I
you know,
like
a
to
tart or a
actually eat
strudel.
apples.
I like an apple that I can eat on the porch with a knife.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
cut myself.
I like a
every
nice
time.
Fuji. I like a nice Honeycrisp. I like a nice
Ooh,
Gala.
Honeycrisp is so good, but it's not natural.
I don't care.
No apple is natural.
Go screw
What?
yourself.
Not the
Josh.
ones. No carrots you're eating are natural or bananas. You ever seen before any type of GMOs what carrots and bananas look like? It's just a root.
I don't like seeing this. Apparently, cashews are the seeds on the
Ugh.
outside of a fruit.
Well,
That
Oh.
looks weird as
You
hell.
didn't know that? Yeah.
Oh, that looks like how you know how a
Cashew
dog's
apples.
penis looks,
Yes, it does.
but they're the wrong colors. It's like a photo negative of a dog's penis.
Wait until you see the coffee fruit. Yeah, it's also something that's really silly. You know, coffee fruit, it's actually delicious. It's like it tastes like a middle ground between like a cherry and a watermelon. And people are like, let's get rid of this most delicious fruit ever and just use the beans, use the seeds, and we call them beans. All right, next chat.
Next
All
chat.
right, next chat from PB Dragon Ninja PB. Oh, that's a lot of PBs. I was under the impression in the Christian faith, suicide gets you a trip to hell. Assisted suicide gets the same, right?
There's debate on that.
A very big debate.
It's kind
Yeah.
of murder.
Like, is there a sort of. So I get it. I understand it, and I think you can make a very good case on both sides. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you it's like, oh, that's stupid, but it's like, are there deadly sins essentially?
Right.
You know, can a sin separate you from what if you're committing suicide in the saving of another person? Essentially, you know, you're going to die. That's technically still suicide because
that's
you're
a
killing
sacrifice,
yourself. But
though.
it just again, it still falls in kind of a gray area for what do you exactly mean?
Mhm.
Am I just killing myself because I don't want to go on with life? Is that going to separate me from God? Well, Catholics, I do believe, think that is true.
Yeah.
100%.
I like the idea of
So-
St. Peter standing up there going, really pushing the envelope, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And made is kind of coerced.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind
It
of that.
definitely is when you learn about cold calls.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
You know,
It's
are
just
you in your right
pressuring
mind?
you.
Like people say, well, are you in your right mind when you do it? Is it a choice that you're making, or were you pressured it? Like, there's so many arguments you can make,
Yeah.
and I'm not really sure.
There's
That's something that
There's a guy at a local Chevy dealership that's really close to getting me
Yeah.
to buy a Colorado.
Really?
He's about 2 weeks of calls away from getting me to buy one of these ZR2s.
I know.
I can't imagine if somebody was like, "Hey, doesn't your life suck?
Yeah, some smooth talker.
Hey, your wife ever give you some back sass?
Yeah.
Your bill's too high?
Mm.
Is your neighbor leaving his dog shits on your front yard all the time?"
Not to mention the budgetary issues. What? Well, let's get back to your horrible life.
I heard all your kids hate you. Don't you just want to check out and let somebody else pick up where you left off?
I'm definitely the mark. For that, I'm definitely the mark.
Yeah, everyone's a mark. It's gonna
so stupid.
All right, next chat.
Evil stuff.
It's as evil as it gets.
All right, next chat from My Chimp. Do you think the groundwork for problems like the inability to talk about things like statistics related to violence and sexual assault started with political correctness?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, of course. It started with, I mean, this all goes back to Marxism, to communism, to socialism, divide and conquer. And it's really more about re-educating people and socially engineering people, because it is a worldview that is predicated on the ends justify the means. Truth is less valuable than the end result. And that is antithetical to a Christian worldview. So yeah, political correctness, you know, they used to call them SJWs, and now it's wokeness. It's all the same virus, to be clear. And you even get people on the left who will acknowledge this behind closed doors. One who was very notable, I remember who I met with, but I won't out him yet. Next chat.
All right, next chat from Decent Question Asker.
Hey, Decent Question Asker, I haven't seen you in a while.
He says, what's up? Question, have leftists forgotten how businesses and profit work? Do you think that's woke college's fault, or do they just not care since they have woke donors to fund their businesses?
Where did this question originate from? Business and profits.
No, they haven't forgotten about it. They revile it. Just to be clear, because think about it. If you have an economic system, as we have, predicated on the idea of markets and supply and demand, you know, you go back to Adam Smith and the invisible hand that sort of sets prices and determines the market. You have a ruggedly independent people who don't need to rely on government because they have a voluntary exchange of goods, services, and currency. They revile that for the same reason that they champion fat pride. They want a sick, feeble, easily manipulated people who can be tossed a few freebies and then kept as serfs. That is because the ends justify the means. That's better for everyone. So if you get enough people reliant on government generationally, well, then you will have big government be the system that exists. And that's ultimately what we want to get to, because that's best for humanity. So by any means necessary, they revile profit. They revile the idea of a business making an honest buck. How do they justify hatred of wealthy people and taking from them what that person has earned and not have a problem with people spending what they haven't earned? They have a problem with making what you've earned. They don't have a problem with spending what you haven't.
Yeah. And every single one of those stories, and maybe this is just cover, I don't know what's chicken or the egg on this one, but it's like they think to be successful, you must have taken advantage of somebody.
Yeah.
If you're a billionaire that you started a company in your basement or something like that, or you're very, very wealthy because of that, you must have taken advantage of people along the way.
Unless you're in Hollywood.
You probably paid a fair wage to your employees. You've probably tried to do the right thing by them, giving them stock options. Elon Musk has made more millionaires than I think anybody else in the history of man.
Probably.
Fact check it. Like, he has made tons of people insanely wealthy, not just rich people, but engineers and programmers and people that left companies to go help him start his. Like, he may not be the best person on the planet, but you cannot deny how many people he has benefited because of his success.
That's true. All right, next chat.
All right, next chat from PJ Pickett. Question for the crew. Is it okay to be racist to Asians because they're a global majority?
Yes.
Funny question. Funny question.
No, it's okay to be racist towards Asians because they're not going to start a riot.
They will go to rooftops if one starts.
Yeah, they are typically very respectful.
Yeah, and good shots.
And the truth is, like I think that, you know, most Asians that I've encountered, they're able to decipher the difference between a joke or a stereotype and hatred. Why? Because they stereotype all other Asians. I mean, in their case, it's actually usually the result of hatred. But in ours, it's different.
Especially those flips.
I mean, usually if you just make a few...
Yikes! Flip it. Jinkies, Gerald.
Flip this.
I'm not... Is that
I'm not sure.
I'm not even super familiar with flip.
You are too. What? We did it in the Pokemon
Oh,
that's Monday with Andrew. Yeah,
that's right. No, I usually go with Zipperhead. Next chat.
Right.
Different people.
Next chat from House 916. Question for crew. Are world leaders considering the fact that once Muslims take control of European governments, they'll have control of nukes? They're not taking this threat seriously.
It's a very serious threat.
It's a good question. I don't know that they're taking it into consideration. Now, they might say, like, well, we're also, as long as we move towards progress, right, the ends justify the means, we're going to have nuclear disarmament because they are delusional enough. Anyone in the year 2026 who thinks that nuclear disarmament is going to happen, that's a crazy person.
Yeah.
That is an insane person. I won't even entertain the conversation. People are like, well, maybe if we got rid of nukes. You're a stupid, crazy person. You don't understand human nature or how the world works. I get it.
At least